More live, exclusive EFL action for you coming up here on Talksport with a bumper day of football. The season is in full swing, and after Southampton kicked off their championship season with a win on Friday, the other two sides relegated from the Premier League last season kick off their campaigns today. Leeds face Cardiff at Elland Road at 2:30, but first, a lunchtime kick-off at King Power Stadium. Leicester welcome local rivals Coventry, looking for an immediate return to the Premier League.
They are boos of disgruntled East Midlanders.
Listen to those boos. The Leicester fans stayed just to do that, I think.
Leicester City Football Club suffering a fifth consecutive defeat.
It's a brilliant strike from Trent Alexander-Arnold. And now the King Power Stadium does empty.
The full-time whistle blows here. It's finished 2-1. It's over. And 7 years after being crowned Premier League champions, Leicester City's fall from grace is complete.
Pulls it back for Allen. Jamie Allen makes it 1-0 to Coventry City.
Hamer takes over, chops inside the defender, goes for goal and puts Coventry in front.
Sometimes it's all about timing, and Coventry City often get their timing right. They've equalised with 25 minutes to go, and they will have just turned the tide in the EFL Championship playoff final. 1-1.
Bankati Darba with a chance now to level up the shootout. He steps up, right-footed and blazes it over the top of the crossbar. It's over for Coventry, and Luton Town are back in the big time.
This is the Championship. This is Talksport, where every game matters.
Every game does matter, and welcome to Leicester's King Power Stadium. I'm Faye Carruthers. Great to have you with us on a cool and dry Sunday morning, now known as the M69 Derby. 24 miles separate these two sides, and this season could have been so different for both of them, with Coventry losing on penalties in the playoff final, as you just heard, and Leicester unable to arrest their slide. This could have been a Premier League fixture. Instead, they both start the 23-24 campaign in the Championship, hoping to go again. Writing in the Matchday programme, Leicester chairman Ayawat Srivad Hanaprabha says the new season presents new opportunities and that the exciting progressive style new manager Enzo Maresca wants to implement shows promising signs. 10 players out the door so far. What new look Leicester side will the new boss opt for in his first game in charge? Let's find out and say a very good morning to Talksport's match commentator at King Power Stadium, Joe Shannon.
Good morning, Faye. Hello everyone. Well, both sides have seen the expected squad reshaping this summer. Leicester's relegation from the Premier League has seen them shorn of some of their top-notch talents, but nobody's really surprised about that. The new manager Enzo Maresca still has an impressive squad for this level to work with, though not everyone is fit for the opening weekend. New signing Conor Cody and defender Victor Christiansen are both out, but Jamie Vardy, Wout Faes and Dennis Pratt, who all missed the pre-season friendly with Liverpool in Singapore, are all raring to go. Vardy starts up front and captains the side. Faes is also in the 11, with Pratt on a star-studded Championship bench. There are 5 debutants in the 11 for Leicester. Goalkeeper Mads Hermansen, defender Callum Doyle, who starred last season on loan at Coventry, ironically, former Tottenham man Harry Winks, and wingers Steffi Mabedidi and Casey McAteer, while Yannick Vestergaard starts a league game for Leicester for the first time in 18 months. It looks like a back four for Leicester today. Hermansen in goal, Ricardo, Faes, Vestergaard and Doyle the defenders. Dewsbury Hall, Winks and Ndidi in midfield, Mabedidi, Vardy and McAteer up front. And we mentioned the strength of the Leicester bench. One or two of these players you imagine could be on their way out before the end of the summer window, but for now the goalkeeper on the subs bench is Stalacic alongside Castagna, Pratt, Daka, Chowdhury, Suter, Iheanacho, Albrighton and Justin. Coventry's biggest summer departure was that of last season's top scorer Victor Gyökeres, but that was not unexpected. Yesterday, though, the club were finally able to confirm the signing of American international Haji Wright to go alongside a host of promising recruits. Wright is on the bench today. Jamie Allen, Callum O'Hare and Fabio Tavares remain out injured. One of the big fitness questions surrounded last season's Golden Glove winner Ben Wilson. He is fit to play in goal. There are 4 debutants, defenders Bobby Thomas and Joel Latibodiere, wing-back Jay Da Silva and the former Everton forward Ellis Sims, who impressed in a half-season in the Championship last year on loan at Sunderland. So this is the Coventry side with that familiar 3 at the back setup that took them to last season's playoff final. Wilson in goal, Thomas, McFadzean and Latibodiere the centre-halves, De Silva and Palmer are the wing-backs, Ben Sheaf, Josh Eccles and the very impressive Gustavo Hamer in midfield. Sims and Godden are the front two, and the bench for Coventry Faye: Binks, Kelly, Sakamoto, Wright, Bidwell, Van Ewijk, Howley, Collins the goalkeeper, and young Justin Abikwu.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Joe. And albeit 10 points separated Coventry and Luton on the day in the playoff final at Wembley, nothing could separate them bar penalties, and there always is one team that has to be on the losing end of that, and it was Coventry City. As a Luton Town fan, I'm clearly delighted about that, but at the same time you really feel for a Coventry side who had really built so well throughout the season and are looking to go again today. Former West Ham, Norwich and Crewe striker Dean Ashton with us. Morning, Dino. Happy new season.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Yes, looking forward to this. I was at Derby yesterday for their defeat to Wigan, and you know, another place that'll have huge expectation. The King Power, the fans here, despite the players that have left, will still expect this team to compete and possibly win the title.
Yeah, I mentioned the chairman's notes in the match day programme, and he did kind of say, look, you know, they want to play this exciting progressive style, and it's going to take some time for them to hit full speed, but the early signs are really promising. He's trying to get the Leicester fans on side straight away, just saying, look, just bear with it, you know, new personnel. And by the way, looking how strong Leicester's bench is, we're probably actually not going to see many of those players going forward with Leicester after September the 1st.
I think there's still a long way to go, like you say, before that deadline. But I think the main thing for the manager is, and the new manager, is to get a grip, first of all, on who still wants to be here, who is ready for this challenge, because having done it myself where you drop down from the Premier League to the Championship, you'll have the odd player that maybe feels they should have got a move, and how has somebody else got a move and I haven't, and they're a bit not in the right frame of mind. You've got players that are obviously being touted around for other clubs, so it's about getting those players that really want to be here. And I think with Jamie Vardy playing today, I think that's a huge statement, because he's the type of player, it doesn't matter where he's played in his career, whether it was non-league or whether it's the Champions League. He is the same player. The attitude is still the same, and that's going to be so important, because there's no doubt that there's the quality in that Leicester side. Obviously, it's going to take a bit of time, as you've just said there, with the ownership talking about the new manager and the way he wants to play. The fans have got to try and allow that to progress until we get past that deadline and we really settle into it. It's a long season. If you get off to a poor start, it's not the end of the world. So a lot still going on for Leicester.
Yeah, and then I think a lot of these players know, you know, what it's like in the Championship. It's brutal in comparison. You know, a 46-game season. As you say, this is the start, and it might be very different look come Christmas time. But let's focus on Enzo Maresca. We'll hear from him in a second. What we do know about him is that he was formerly a coach at Manchester City. It feels as if he's got the Pep Guardiola DNA in him, and he's going to want to play this new possession-based, exciting style of football here at Leicester City. But obviously he's going to have to contend with the fact that they're going to be heavy favourites to go straight back up again.
Yes, he is going to have to deal with that. He's got the playing staff to do so. There's no doubt about that these players are capable of doing, I think, what he will want them to do. You know, he's obviously coached alongside Pep Guardiola. He's really good friends with De Zerbi. So throw all that into the mix. We're still not sure exactly what we're going to get with this Leicester side. I think it's going to be fun, certainly from a neutral's point of view, but it might take a bit of time. But when you've got that experience of people around you and who are close to you and that you've watched and studied, and then you've got your own ideas as well, I think that's exciting, certainly from a Leicester fan's point of view. I think he wasn't given the time at Parma. You know, he talked about that after he was let go there, that he needed more time to implement what he wanted. Is he going to get that time here? I hope he does. But when you've got players like a Dewsbury Hall, like an Ndidi, these players are, as they've shown, you know, top-level Premier League players. I think Dewsbury Hall's got the ability to be the Championship Player of the Season. I think he's got that much quality. I'm really excited to see how he does this season, because I think he can really take that role on. Now a Maddison and a Barnes have gone, he can become the main man.
The Leicester owners have just walked past us here at King Power Stadium, ready to take their seats, hoping for a really positive season ahead for them after the disappointment of relegation from the Premier League. They feel like they've got the right manager in place in order to do that. Let's hear from him, because the Leicester boss Enzo Maresca has been speaking to Talksport's Jason Bourne ahead of his side's curtain raiser.
Do you feel fully prepared for the new campaign? I know you have obviously had the difficulties out in Thailand with the Spurs game being cancelled, but you have the new one in midweek. But you feel ready to go?
We need to be ready, for sure. As we said, probably the difference between us and the rest of the clubs, for instance, Coventry in this case, is that probably they are working with the same manager from, I don't know, last 5-6 years. And this team is playing under a new manager just 1 month ago. So probably the big difference between us and the rest of the club is this, that in football it's big difference. But yeah, we need to be ready.
I remember you talking in your first press conference about it being a long-term project here, but do you feel any kind of pressure to start well and get that first win under your belt on Sunday?
No, yeah, start well, absolutely. We need to start in the right way. We need to start well. But I don't feel any pressure, because I always said at the moment the only pressure I feel is that I want to see the team improving. And then I said days ago I didn't receive any pressure from the club that we need to get promoted. Or the club is ambitious. I'm ambitious too. The player too. We all want the same target. But as I said days ago, football, unfortunately, it's not A, B, C. It's dynamic.
It is dynamic, and that's what we like to see here on Talksport, dynamic football, and it feels as if the new Leicester boss Enzo Maresca is certainly going to be bringing that. But he mentioned there the owners and the support for him. I mean, a lot changes in football very, very quickly, but previously, under extenuating circumstances, they had to part ways eventually with Brendan Rodgers towards the back end of last season, because results just weren't quite going their way, and Dean Smith wasn't able to arrest that slide, and so they've gone a different way in terms of what they're going to do this season. But they do tend to back their managers, and it feels like they're doing that, and they very much have their eye on a prize of going straight back up.
Yeah, I hope so, and I hope that's followed through with. If you really believe that over a period of time he can be successful, of course you've got to see some positivity out on the pitch. And we can talk about who he knows and who his friends are, but it's going to come down to how he can affect the players. And I can't emphasise enough about mentality of trying to get the right players to buy into this league. You are not Premier League anymore. The cars might look Premier League outside, but this isn't anymore. Every single team that comes here cannot wait to be here, cannot wait to go out on that immaculate pitch as it always is and play here. That's what they're going to have to be up against every single week. People can't wait to play against Jamie Vardy, Winks, these players that people know. They can't wait to come here and play. Can he get that across to his players? And I think there's enough experience in there, previous championship level, that he can do that. That's so vital, I think, when you've come down from the Premier League. Yeah,
it really is. And of course they're facing a side in their opening game, local rivals. We mentioned just 24 miles separating these two sides, but actually the gulf between them had previously, with what has gone on in Coventry's history, bearing in mind Leicester won the Premier League so many years ago, it's been massive. It's so small now, this gap between these two teams, because Coventry were within a whisker of being in the Premier League last season, a penalty kick away from being in the Premier League this season. And I always say, as a Luton Town fan, I feel as if Coventry are on a very similar trajectory to what Luton were on a few years ago. There may be a season or 2 seasons behind them, but they're doing everything right, and yet again it feels like they've brought in some really shrewd, clever signings.
It does. If you'd have given me 3 teams, Leicester coming down, who they wouldn't want to play on it would be Coventry would be in there. I think what Mark Robins has built is a side where everybody really understands their role, that they're really, really hard to play against, they're really, really hard to score against, they're so well organised. There's a smattering of real quality in there. Hamer starting today, I think's huge for them, and it's going to be him and O'Hare when he's back fit. They're the key players to this Coventry side, especially now that Gyökeres has gone. Obviously there's going to be pressure on Sims, but he's going to need a little bit of time to settle in. But it's the same. It'll be the same system. It'll be the same way of playing. And you're right, they just seem to be on this progressive train every single year. They just seem to get better and better, and nothing really seems to faze this manager and these players, which makes this game, I think, really difficult for Leicester.
And you said Leicester didn't want to play Coventry. Actually, the Coventry boss, Mark Robbins, said they didn't really want to have a local derby for their opener. Let's hear from him.
Not ideal coming into a game like this and playing a local derby in the first game. Brilliant game, there's no doubt about it, but we've got to go out and use these games now to get up to speed as a group together. And again, we'll continue our recruitment drive alongside it. Now it's started, but yeah, absolutely, it's exciting. There's no doubt.
Yeah, very much looking forward to exactly what this exciting Coventry side can bring in. 9 incomings in total they've had. The most notable, as Dean mentioned, Ellis Sims from Everton as well. So Jay Da Silva also from Bristol City, and forward Haji Wright too. It's going to be fascinating to see how they line up against Leicester City. What time are we on? 40 minutes until kick-off here at King Power Stadium. We have an EFL triple header for you in the Championship on Talksport and Talksport 2. Leicester Coventry here at King Power Stadium kicks off at 12 o'clock. That's followed at 2:30 by Leeds against Cardiff, and at 5 o'clock on Talksport 2 an exclusive Sunderland against Ipswich, with Ipswich back in the Championship after quite a long time away from it. Sandwiched in the middle of that, it's only the Community Shield. Manchester City against Arsenal kicks off live on Talksport at 4 o'clock as the players walk out here at King Power Stadium to fans' rapturous applause. We're here at King Power Stadium ahead of Leicester City against Coventry in the Championship. It's exclusive to Talksport. Stay with us. We're going to be having a look back on a blockbuster opening Saturday of EFL football next. This is EFL Game Day Live on Talksport. I'm Faker Ruthers with you live from King Power Stadium. Just under 20 minutes until we kick off between Leicester City and Coventry City. Let's get a recap of the team news, shall we, before we start looking at the Community Shield between Manchester City and Arsenal. Our match commentator here at King Power Stadium is Joe Shannon.
Thank you, Faye. New Leicester boss Enzo Maresca takes charge of the side for the first time. There are 5 debutants in his first starting 11. New goalkeeper Mads Hermansson, defender Callum Doyle, who played last season on loan at Coventry, Harry Winks, Stepi Mabedidi and Casey McAteer. Yannick Vestergaard starts a league game for the first time in 18 months. Jamie Vardy will captain the side. No Connor Cody, he is injured. So Hermansson in goal, Ricardo, Fass, Vestergaard and Doyle the defenders, Dewsbury Hall, Winks and Ndidi in midfield, Mabedidi, Vardy and McAteer up front. Last year's Championship playoff final runners-up Coventry include 4 debutants in their starting 11. Bobby Thomas and Joel Latibaudiere at the back, wing-back Jay Da Silva and the former Everton striker Ellis Sims. New signing Haji Wright, who officially joined the club yesterday, is among the substitutes. Goalkeeper Ben Wilson, so outstanding last year, is fit to play this lunchtime. Thomas, McFadzean and Latibaudiere the back 3. Da Silva and Palmer the wing-backs. Sheaf, Eccles and Hamer in midfield. Sims and Godden up front. It's Leicester against Coventry live on Talksport, and kick-off is 18 minutes away.
Thank you very much, Joe. Shooting drills just getting underway for both teams. Coventry City in their sky blue kit on our left-hand side, and Leicester City in the royal blue with these really odd, Dean Ashton, looking training tops that are yellow and kind of look a little bit like an old Gunners kit.
I was going to say the same. I quite like it though.
I don't.
I do.
I'm very funny. I like traditional, I have to say, and it just looks like some kind of 70s carpet that's gone wrong.
You know that is drawing. All the kids will be going, I want one of those though. Dad, Mum, I want one of those.
I am not down with the kids, quite clearly. Right, let's preview our live commentary on Talksport at 4 o'clock. The traditional curtain raiser, as it's known. Supposed to be the season curtain raiser, but we've already kicked off the season, so we're slightly late. So we'll kind of call it the Premier League curtain raiser, because that's what it is, because Manchester City won both the FA Cup and the Premier League, and usually that's the two teams that would face off. So it's the second place Premier League team, Arsenal, that Manchester City will face instead. And actually, this is going to be quite a fascinating, for many reasons, game, I think. You don't usually read too much into the Community Shield, I would say. It gets dismissed a little bit, but because of what happened towards the end of last season, I'm quite fascinated by it.
I wonder who remembers having a little chuckle to themselves when Erling Haaland, here, by the way, put it over the bar from 3 yards out, and everyone went, "Oh, there you go." And then he obviously went and did what he did in the season. So we won't obviously look too much into it. But I think it matters. I do. I think it matters in terms of the players, because I think it's a real opportunity in such quality sides to cement a place at the start of the season in the manager's eye. I think that's really important. I think it's important for new signings to have an opportunity in a competitive game to test themselves alongside their new teammates. But without a doubt, it's the supporters that take more from these games.
But the supporters, in terms of the Arsenal supporters in particular, bearing in mind their record against Manchester City, they've lost their last 8 fixtures against them. It feels, we were talking yesterday at Game for Ukraine at Stamford Bridge about this kind of potential mentality problem that Arsenal have when it comes to facing City.
Well, you'd have to say so with that record, of course. I think, let's be honest, it's probably been the last season is the only time that you really felt as if they would have had a chance to have won those games because of how good City have been. But now it's a case of they've gone again, Arsenal. You know, they've brought in Declan Rice for a huge fee. They've brought in other additions to the squad. You know, they've gone again because they believe they can really compete this season and go that one step further and challenge Manchester City, and it does start today.
Declan Rice, Kai Havertz, Yurian Timber all could make their competitive debuts for Arsenal. No Gabriel Jesus, out with a knee injury, and actually surely he's going to be key to their season, keeping him fit. He just doesn't seem to be able to do a full season.
No, it's a real shame for him, of course. Nobody likes to see a player get injured. Mikel Arteta, though, it's that decision time, isn't it? Do you play Nketiah? Are you going to use Kai Havertz more into the number 9 role, or going to play him as an 8 as you bought him for? That's the decision. I think Nketiah will get the nod, because I think he still trusts him.
Yeah, he really does. Former Arsenal defender Martin Keown will be in the studio with Jim White and Alex Crook tomorrow from 10 a.m. They're going to be reacting to the fallout from the Community Shield. And hopefully, for Martin, he'll be in a better mood if Arsenal do manage to finally beat Manchester City. This is Talksport. Coming next, final build-up to Leicester against Coventry. This is EFL Game Day Live here on Talksport. I'm Faye Carruthers. We are just around 10 minutes from kick-off between Leicester City and Coventry City. Both teams looking to get their EFL campaign off to a positive start. Brilliant stuff, exciting. We will give you all the latest during commentary of this match between Leicester and Coventry City, of what's going on in that last 16 match between USA and Sweden. Both sides looking to make their way into the quarter-finals of the tournament. England, of course, kick off their campaign in the knockout stages against Nigeria. It's an 8:30 in the morning kick-off on Talksport 2. Myself in the hot seat, and Joe Shannon, who's commentating on this match with me, will be there to commentate on that one as well, alongside former Tottenham captain Jenna Scalacci. The PA has ramped up the music here at King Power Stadium. They're ready for a new season. Are you ready for a new season as well? I know it kicked off on Friday on Talksport with Southampton's victory over Sheffield Wednesday, but here at King Power Stadium the blue and white flags are waving, because the flags have been replaced in terms of all the hoardings saying Premier League around the ground. It is now EFL, and they're looking to start their campaign off with 3 points and look to get back into the Premier League for the first time of asking. Commentary team here with me at King Power Stadium: Joe Shannon and Dean Ashton, former Norwich City striker. Really looking forward to this one, Dino. Who are you having your eye on first and foremost? I'm quite looking forward to seeing Harry Winks back.
You took the name out of my mouth. Yeah, I mean, I think what's interesting is that they've invested in Conor Cody, who's not available today. They've invested in Harry Winks, two players that actually have had a reasonably poor time of it recently. But I think they've brought these players in specifically for a role that the manager wants. And I think Harry Winks is going to be crucial to the way that the new manager wants to play. I think he'll sit in that midfield and he'll start things, he'll tick things over, he'll keep the ball moving. I think that is his biggest strength, is that on the half turn with good quality to move the ball nice and quickly, and then you'll release the likes of Dewsbury Hall into the attacking third. I think that's going to be vital to the way that Leicester play. But has he still got the confidence of that young player we saw come through at Tottenham? Has he still got that, or has he lost any of that confidence that he had with what happened at Tottenham, and then he's gone out as well? Fascinating to see how he gets on today.
Yeah, very much so, against a Coventry side who are probably stinging a little bit from that defeat at Wembley in the playoff final. However, they did a fantastic job to get there in the first place, and I don't feel as if their push for the Premier League is over. This season could be the one where they make either a push to do it automatically, albeit against huge teams that they're going to be facing, as we wait for the players to come out, the heartbeat that you usually hear, and the Fox's eyes with blue on the right hand side across King Power Stadium as the tension builds ahead of this kickoff. The players are ready to come out. The music finally is turned down. I'm not going to lie, my ears are absolutely bleeding every time I come to King Power Stadium. I am going to leave you in the very capable hands with a new championship campaign starting here for Leicester and Coventry. Sit back and enjoy the first of a triple EFL header here on the Talksport network. Teams are on their way out shortly. Former Norwich and Crewe striker Dean Ashton and your match commentator Joe Shannon have this one.
Thank you, Faye. Shades of blue everywhere at the King Power Stadium and huge flags. We're surrounded by Leicester City supporters, and away to the right in the south stand, packed with Leicester fans on their feet. It's a sellout crowd today. A banner behind the goal, Semper Idem, meaning always the same. Leicester City fans will be here at the King Power regardless of the division that they're in, and of course this year is all about a push to reach the Premier League. It has been a rip-roaring start to the Championship season, exclusively live on the Talksport network. It continues at a pace here with the Midlands derby on the opening weekend. And how will Leicester bounce back from relegation to the second tier after 9 memorable seasons in the Premier League, including that title win in 2016? And how can Coventry recover from the blow of missing out on the top flight in the playoff final last season? There is a new manager in the dugout at Leicester in Enzo Maresca, an integral part of Pep Guardiola's coaching staff, but now tasked with proving himself as a number one, while Mark Robins, pound for pound, you have to say, is just about as good as you get in the EFL, and Coventry have improved in each and every season of his second spell in charge. It's a chance to lay down an early season marker for both clubs, but who will be quickest off the pace this lunchtime? You're about to hear an almighty roar. 32,000 at the King Power Stadium. 3,000 have made the short trip from Coventry. And here we go. Coventry in the sky blue, Leicester in the royal blue. And we're ready for a royal rumble here on this Sunday lunchtime, live on Talksport. Two sides who feel they'll be right up there in terms of contention in the 9 months of highs and lows that lie ahead. Here are the two teams. 5 debutants for Leicester, including Mads Hermansen, the Dane, in goal, Ricardo, Fass, Vestergaard, a first league start in 18 months, and Callum Doyle, who spent last season on loan at Coventry for Manchester City in defence. Dewsbury Hall, Harry Winks, formerly of Tottenham, and Ndidi in midfield. New signing Steffi Mabididi and Casey McAteer, also a new arrival, are both playing in the wing positions, and Jamie Vardy, the skipper, up front. It's Casey McAteer's second start for Leicester City. For Coventry City, Ben Wilson in goal, Bobby Thomas, Carl McFadzean and Joel Latabaudiere, the back three. Now Latabaudiere and Thomas are new signings, as is the wing-back Jay Da Silva. Casey Palmer on the other side with Eccles, Hamer and Sheaf in midfield. Godden and Sims, who makes his first Coventry appearance confidence after signing from Everton in the summer up front. Well, Dean Ashton, we're just about ready to go. All of the build-up for both sides. Such contrasting seasons last year. A new face in the dugout for Leicester. Continuity for Coventry. How do you see it panning out?
Well, disappointment from both sides really in differing ways, with Coventry obviously missing out on promotion and Leicester being relegated. So mentally, which one of these sides, which of the players is ready for another season in the Championship? And I think when you're coming up against a Mark Robins side, you know that they'll be ready, you know that they'll be organised, you know that they've done decent business to try and offset Gyökeres leaving. And in Leicester, let's be honest, there's real quality in that side. And is there still another couple of seasons left in Jamie Vardy? Because if there is, watch out, Championship defenders.
Well, the noise rings around the King Power Stadium. Jamie Vardy and Carl McFadzean going head-to-head in the centre circle, the two captains. We have lots of live football coming up for you across the day on the Talksport network. At 2:30, Leeds against Cardiff in the Championship. The whole game on Talksport 2. You can hear the first half here on Talksport. At 4 o'clock on Talksport, our focus switches to the Community Shield. Manchester City against Arsenal live at Wembley Stadium. 5 o'clock on 2, Sunderland against Ipswich. Next weekend, the start of the Premier League season. 4 exclusive national radio commentaries from the first weekend. We've got England against Nigeria tomorrow morning in the Women's World Cup round of 16. More live football than anywhere else on national radio. And it promises to be one of the most exciting seasons the Championship has seen. Two sides with big ambitions get their campaigns underway. This lunchtime, it is Royal Blue against Sky Blue. Leicester against Coventry. A Midlands derby. And of course, at the end of this season for both, the dream of promotion to the Premier League. Every twist and turn of the new campaign live on Talksport. Coventry from left to right get us underway in that sky blue kit. Early touch on the far side for Jada Silva. Pushes it up the far side touchline towards the tall and pacey Ellis Sims. And across comes Wout Faes for Leicester City to sweep the ball into touch. Faes with the curly hair. Leicester have a star-studded bench. I'll give you the both sets of subs in just a few moments. Leicester playing from right to left in the first half towards the north end of the stadium, and in the northeast corner there are 3,000 or so Coventry fans who are making quite a racket already. Casey Palmer on the far side for Coventry, who came so close in the playoffs last season, made it all the way through to Wembley before being edged out by Luton on penalties. And Leicester with Enzo Maresca standing on the edge of his technical area, about 30-40 rows of seats down below us. A bow, a first game in the dugout, a first game as a manager in English football, lots of coaching pedigree, but the big challenge of the Championship ahead. We've had a minute to play. Leicester 0, Coventry 0, and here's the former England striker Dean Ashton.
Well, I talked before the game about Gustavo Hamer. He was magnificent last season for Coventry. Obviously a brilliant goal in the playoff final as well. He's actually started a little deeper than I expected alongside Sheaf. Eccles on the right with Casey Palmer giving that licence just in behind the two strikers, which I would have expected Hamer to have played. I'll see if that develops yet, but interesting to see him a little deeper than I think he should be playing, because he's such a wonderful attacking talent.
Joel Latibaudiere has swung the ball out of play. It's a Leicester throw midway inside Coventry territory on the far side, the right. It's relatively mild in Leicestershire today, about 17 degrees, and there are wispy white clouds to go with the blue sky up ahead. No sign of rain as yet. Leicester in possession with Ricardo with the yellow boots on the far side there right, and it's won back by the tenacious Winks in the middle of midfield. He could be a really important player for Leicester this season, brought in the summer from Tottenham Hotspur. But it's Coventry on the attack, a reverse ball by Matty Godden up the middle, couldn't find Sims. Leicester win it back, and that's a ball back to the goalkeeper, the new goalkeeper at Leicester, a Dane, Mads Hermansson, and it was Casey McAteer with the back pass. We mentioned the 4 outright debutants for Leicester today, but for McAteer it's a full league debut for him, a first started league competition for Leicester City, and a big opportunity for the 21-year-old.
Big opportunity for a few players, that's for sure. I wonder if Kasper Schmeichel had anything to do with the new goalkeeper.
I do wonder. They've had success with Danish goalkeepers in the past. Leicester, Schmeichel, the top contender, poked through the middle by Dewsbury Hall. Mabadidi will chase. It was aimed initially at Jamie Vardy, but too much on the pass from Dewsbury Hall and collected by the Coventry goalkeeper Ben Wilson, who was so impressive last season, winning the EFL Golden Glove, and he's won his race to be fit for the opening game of the season. Leicester 0, Coventry 0. 3 minutes gone, live on Talksport, and a fast and frenetic start.
Well, I think that there's the type of play we'll see all season, which is Winks into Dewsbury Hall, looking for that run from Vardy. Vardy just basically turned around, got his head down and just sprinted in behind. He'll fancy himself against McFadzean.
Gordon collects the ball for Coventry in the left wing position. Now De Silva crosses, headed away at the near post by Wout Faes. It was aimed at Sims, who was the only man in the box for Coventry City there. Scooped forward inside left channel by Carl McFadzean, headed back infield by De Silva, looking to cushion into the path of Gordon. But Wilfred Ndidi, the leggy midfielder, was across to win it back for Leicester City, and he gets the reverse ball on the halfway line and plays a lovely sweeping pass from right to left. Stepi Mabadidi, who started his career in the youth term at Arsenal, wearing number 10 for Leicester on his debut, is there edge of the penalty area, lays it back to Callum Doyle, formerly of Coventry. The cross hits the back of Mabadidi, and it's swept away from danger by Gordon, high to the halfway line. And the pace continues to be tremendous early on here, as you would expect, I suppose, from an opening game of any new season. Both teams eager to impress. It's a poor ball square though by Sims towards Sheaf, and quite straight away Leicester away on the counter. Winks over the top towards Mabadidi. Again, level with the edge of the 18-yard box. Goalless it remains as the sun comes out. Mabadidi's deep ball in, headed away at the far post by Latabodiere before Casey McAteer could reach it. Leicester throw, and there are Leicester fans out of their seats to try and encourage their team.
Mabadidi already showing that he wants to run in behind, that he wants to stretch that Coventry defence. The only thing is, he's running into that channel that Jamie Vardy loves. Jamie Vardy loves to run into the left channel, making that arcing run. Mabadidi there, couple of great runs, just lacked any real idea or quality at the end of that, but really positive already for Leicester.
Dean Ashton with us for commentary today. It feels like it's been no time at all since the end of last season, Dean.
Just a blur of holidays.
For you, that is. We are straight back into it, and it's great to be back. Here is Dewsbury Hall, left-hand edge of the centre circle for Leicester, with that long-sleeve royal blue shirt on. Mabadidi looking lively early on, trying to sprint beyond the Coventry right wing-back Eccles. So Eccles has started at right wing-back. De Silva, formerly of Bristol City, out on the left, making his Coventry debut today. And Casey Palmer in a midfield role, quite a versatile player, Casey Palmer, in support of Sims and Godden up front. And of course, one of the big questions for Coventry and for Mark Robins this season is how they cope with the loss of Victor Gyökeres. He's been so influential from a goal-scoring perspective in the last couple of seasons.
Of course, and when they played one striker, he was just so good. He was just so good at that. Gyökeres, to lead the line on his own, so powerful, such a strong runner as well, clever movement that he had. Ellis Sims is slightly different. I think I've seen him more play as a two, better as a two, should I say. Struggled a little bit at Everton on his own up there, so no surprise to see Godden alongside him.
And Didi's won it back for Leicester, who looked lively on the counter. McAteer darting down the right-hand side and turning away from Latabodiere, who came across, and there was a collision between Hamer and McAteer. Referee had a good long look at it and said no. Darren Bond is the referee today. Leicester have it again with Dewsbury Hall, breaking forward 35 yards from goal. The shot is on left-footed, and it's straight at the goalkeeper, who collects down low as Wilson. 6.5 exciting first minutes here at the King Power Stadium, but Leicester 0, Coventry 0 it remains on Talksport, and the Talksport network is your home of the EFL throughout the season. No national broadcaster will be providing full live radio commentary on EFL matches. Jamie Vardy, the Leicester captain, battling in the middle of midfield with Latabodiere this time, and a ricochet off the Coventry man. It's a Leicester throw in front of the Coventry fans down by the corner flag.
Surprised actually at the moment, the Coventry are being caught out when they lose possession. They're quite open actually, allowing Leicester to counter-attack, which is exactly what they would like to do, to have that space to run into. And Coventry maybe just need to make sure they're a bit more compact when they do lose the ball. And Dewsbury Hall there, getting that ball out of his feet. He'll be really disappointed, actually. He didn't get a better strike, got stuck under his feet. Casey Palmer did well to get back and just put him under a little bit of pressure.
Eccles for Coventry, right wing back, putting it up the inside left channel towards the run of Matty Godden. That's a long leg to stretch out and make the tackle from Yannick Vestergaard, who suddenly is back in the fold at Leicester City, having been frozen out, the former Southampton man. His first league start for Leicester since January 2022. As Hamer hangs up a high cross for Coventry towards the far post. Hamer, who has a year left on his Coventry contract, a lot of rumours surrounding his future. And now Ben Sheaf, formerly of Arsenal, steering the ball to the left-hand channel, the far side, the left wing for Coventry and De Silva. Palmer is dispossessed in midfield though by Ndidi. Ndidi looks quickly to the feet of Jamie Vardy, who flicks the ball up into the air, trying to spin it back round into Coventry territory, but nobody's there in royal blue, and the Sky Blues, Coventry City, have it back. Hamer crossfield, right to left to find De Silva. Good close control. Now Casey Palmer breaking to the penalty area. Cross takes a deflection off Ricardo. That'll be a Coventry corner. First of the game. Leicester fans behind the goal, I think, felt it should have been a goal kick.
That's the only thing that Harry Winks won't necessarily give you, which is that genuine alertness in defensive situations, because that's a couple of times now Casey Palmer's just drifted into a nice position and collected that off the wing back, and Harry Winks hasn't just got himself across. That's where Ndidi's normally so good, but then again we've seen some really good play already from Ndidi when he can stride forwards and intercept.
Gustavo Hamer, such an influential figure for Coventry last season with the in-swinging corner, and it almost caught out the backpedaling goalkeeper, who managed to fling himself backwards towards his own goal line. In the end, it's straight out of play via Hamer. There was no touch from Hermansen, the Dane, in goal for Leicester City, but it was a devilish in-swinging corner from Hamer, deep to the far post, and I have to say, had that ended up on target, Dean, I think it would have been 1-0 to Coventry.
I think you're right. I don't know whether it's something they've looked at, because Hamer looked like he really wanted to whip that in towards that far corner, whether they've just watched the new Leicester goalkeeper in pre-season and where his starting position is. It's a delightful delivery. Actually, he probably can ask his teammates why they weren't on the end of it at the back post.
Lovely ball up the middle by Fast to find Dewsbury Hall. Leicester breaking forward in spades. It's played left to Mavididi, left on edge of the penalty area, twisting, turning, shooting from an angle, and it's blocked on the slide by a stretching Bobby Thomas, making his Coventry debut today, having joined from Burnley in the summer, and it's Leicester's turn to win a corner.
Well, they've got a problem, Coventry. They can't allow Dewsbury Hall that amount of space in the middle of the pitch just to run towards their goal and expose those three centre-backs who have to step out eventually. And in the end, it was a little bit slow from Mavididi. Could have just done things a little bit quicker to get that cross in.
Flooding forward there, Leicester. Royal blue shirts left, right and centre. They have plenty in the penalty area now. Coventry have brought everyone back. Dewsbury Hall, left-footed delivery, hung up high, deep to the far post, maybe too much on it. Callum Doyle, who's being booed by fans of his former team, Coventry, was on loan at Coventry last season and was influential in their run to the playoff final. Doyle's ball in field. He's on loan at Leicester from Manchester City. 0-0 the score, and now Ricardo in the centre circle. Leicester have been forced back to the halfway line. We've had 11 minutes, both managers in tracksuits, both patrolling the near side touchline, standing almost on a blue carpet at the base of the main stand. Here comes McAteer for Leicester. His first touch wasn't good. De Silva there to block him off, but De Silva then wrestles McAteer to the ground, arms all over him, and Leicester free kick midway inside the Coventry half.
Yeah, no James Maddison anymore for these set plays, so Dewsbury Hall looking like he's going over to take this. I think if anyone's wondering why Callum Doyle is playing left back, he has played there before for Coventry. But actually, what he's doing is it means then he can drift inside, make a back three, and allow Ricardo Pereira to do this new modern right back that comes into midfield, which he's done so far.
Dewsbury Hall places the ball on the ground. He floats the free kick high into the penalty area. Doyle at the far post, headed away by Ellis Sims. Now it's come back to McAteer for Leicester City. First league start for the club that he joined at the age of 8 today. McAteer, tall for a wing player, back to Ricardo with the yellow boots on, and now all the way into Leicester territory where Harry Winks is waiting. It's Leicester 0, Coventry 0 on Talksport. Leicester look lively, Coventry 2, and here is Vestergaard about 10 yards from the halfway line. And Vestergaard looking to stride forward. It's played towards the left and Doyle. And now Dewsbury Hall. Little 1-2 involving him and Harry Winks. And now the giant Vestergaard playing it square to the right. And Fass, it's suddenly bright and sunny at the King Power Stadium. Vardy with his back to goal. Poor layoff by Vardy. Intercepted by Hamer, but Hamer's pass is blocked off by Ricardo, and Vardy's on the turn again. Driving down the inside right channel, away from 2 and 3 in sky blue. Wide to McAteer. Clips in the cross. Vardy almost got his head to it. Headed away. Only as far as Winks. Nods it down to Dewsbury Hall with his back to goal. It's Leicester 0, Coventry 0. An engaging start to this championship game on the opening weekend of the EFL season. Here goes Ndidi, down by the dead ball line, pulls it back across. Leicester City win themselves another corner. Leicester looking dangerous.
Yeah, probing well Leicester. Harry Winks and Dewsbury Hall combining beautifully. I think they'll enjoy that this season, those two playing little triangles in and around the Coventry midfield, then release Ndidi, who made a really clever third man run, just couldn't quite get the cross in. A good block.
3 big defenders, Doyle, Fass and Vestergaard, who, as Dean said, will be forming a back 3 in possession on occasion, all forward for this corner. Swung in by Dewsbury Hall, up towards Vestergaard, and that's going to go behind for a goal kick to Coventry City. Scoreless it remains on Talksport. And are they going to extra time in the round of 16 at the Women's World Cup? Sweden against the USA. Talksport, Charlotte Richardson.
It is Sweden 0, USA 0. We're into the second half of extra time here. Legend replaces legend for the current world champions. Alex Morgan replaced by Megan Rapinoe, who fills in on the left, so Sophia Smith can play more centrally, and that has sharpened the US attack. They look the more likely to score, but Sweden still very much in this knockout game. Sweden 0, USA 0.
Thanks, Charlotte. Forward by Winks, the edge of the penalty area. Vardy looking to spin and turn, and then a shot by Ricardo. A snapshot from a central position. We've seen Ricardo occupy that area of the field throughout the game, throughout the 14 and a half minutes so far, but it was an easy gather for Ben Wilson there, Dean.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they win the ball, he goes in alongside Harry Winks in midfield, and then obviously gets himself forward, as he did there, waiting for anything just to come his way. It dropped nicely for the volley. Pretty simple in the end for someone of the quality of Wilson, who they'll be delighted is fit.
There's a lovely flick header by Gordon, who gets it back from Hamer. Gordon tried to play it towards the inside left channel, and Hamer again caught on the penalty area, wrestling that to Ricardo. Ricardo slides in, but it's come back to Da Silva. Chips in the cross, and the header away by Doyle, right in front of his own goal. 1 or 2 hearts in mouths from the Leicester City fans, and the supporters in the director's box immediately to our right there, because just for a second, Dean, it looked like Doyle was going to head that towards his own goal rather than away from it. It was actually a good clearing header. It was in the end the ball out of play.
It was an illusion is what it was. It did look like he'd headed it into his own goal, because it was level with RI line and the crossbar. Good header away, actually. He was the only defender left, Doyle, and he had to make sure.
A quick word for Jamie Vardy with Enzo Maresca. Vardy starting through the middle, the Leicester City captain today. Winks ball forward to Ndidi, spinning and turning just left of centre, about 30 yards from goal. It's swept away from danger though, high upfield. Intelligent ball by Bobby Thomas, the Coventry centre half, and it's the striker Sims who's chasing. Wout Fass gets across from centre half for Leicester City. Well, it's been a really exciting and very high tempo Midlands derby so far. Leicester 0, Coventry 0, and you can see why early on, Dean Ashton, these two are up there, in Leicester in particular, with the favourites in the Championship this year.
Yeah, I mean, both sides have got quality players, and at this level they should do very, very well. Very different styles in terms of Leicester have got that real quality playing through, and then Coventry are trying to be a little bit more direct in towards Sims and Godden, and then play off the 2 forward players. Sims needs to do better down the channel, left hand side there with Wout Fass, and just tried to outrun him. Needs to be a little bit cleverer than that.
I can give you the 2 subs benches. Jakub Stolarczyk, the young Leicester sub goalkeeper, and how about this for the Championship? Castagna, Pratt, Daka, Chowdhury, Suter, Ian Acho, Albrighton and Justin. You wonder how many will be at Leicester of those substitutes by the end of the summer window. And for Coventry, I'll give you the Coventry subs in just a moment, because Leicester potentially on the attack here. Mavididi having to retreat to keep the ball in play in the left wing position. Now he gets the return ball from Doyle. Lovely weight on the pass. Sliding in Eccles. Got the initial touch. I think it was just enough to hold the ball up as Mavididi looked to charge through the middle. And then Thomas authoritatively came across from centre half to sweep it out of play. Leicester throw 0-0 live on Talksport.
He's not going to enjoy this, is he? Eccles playing at wing back. He's got some serious acceleration. Mavididi just played it inside and then just eased his way past Eccles into the inside channel. It was good from Bobby Thomas to come across.
Dewsbury Hall loses out to Hamer, going back towards the halfway line, and there were 3 against 2 there for Coventry. Mark Robbins not happy with the referee. Mark Robbins has been standing on the edge of the technical area, the left corner, for the whole of the game so far. His arms folded. What an outstanding job he's done since coming back to Coventry in 2017 from League 2 all the way to the brink of the Premier League last season. And Coventry have improved in each and every season that he's been in charge since coming back, as I say, in 2017. His coaching team is very important. Hady Vibash and Dennis Lawrence and Dean Austin, the head of recruitment. Here is Dewsbury Hall for Leicester, left of centre, midway into the Coventry half. The Leicester side playing some lovely stuff early on. You expected a free-flowing style under Enzo Maresca, but Coventry win it back on the halfway line, and Coventry certainly fear nobody. That's a loose ball, though, by Palmer. That's collected by the Leicester goalkeeper Hermanson on the edge of his box.
Oh, they're going to have to be better than that, Coventry, when they win the ball back, because Leicester are keeping possession very, very well. They're struggling, Coventry, with the movement in midfield. It's almost a box 4 of Ndidi, Dewsbury Hall, Winks and Ricardo Pereira. They've struggled against the 3 in there of their own players, Coventry. But when they win it back, there's got to be a little bit more composure on the ball so far.
And the Coventry subs: Collins, the goalkeeper, Obikwu, Howley, Van Ewijk, Bidwell, Wright, Sakamoto, Kelly and Binks. Haji Wright, the American international, who it was confirmed joined the club yesterday. Here is Eccles, striding over the halfway line for Coventry in that right wing back roll. Looks to thread it infield towards the runner Palmer. Too much on it, intercepted by Fass. Leicester have it now with Winks. Winks immediately darting forward and poking it through the middle towards Dewsbury Hall. In steps McFadzean to clear it away. We haven't really had a clear-cut chance on goal so far. Hamer's in swinging corner that nearly went in at the back post. The closest we've come. That reflects an even first 20 minutes, Dean Ashton.
Yeah. I mean, Casey Palmer's a good player. You know, he's good running off the ball. I like him when he's in wide areas as well. But he's not the same player as Gustavo Hamer. I'd have Hamer as a 10. I think when you're playing this type of team, I think when you need to release pressure, if you get it into Hamer, he's the one with that real quality back to goal or to combine. And Casey Palmer's lost the ball too often so far.
Oh God, looking to break up the middle away from Fass. Fass, though, commanding. Gets wriggles away from the challenge of the Coventry frontman, who will run all day. Sends it back to Hermanson, the goalkeeper, all in bright green. The opening weekend of the EFL season, live on the Talksport network, and 4 exclusive Premier League commentaries from the opening weekend in the top flight next weekend, including Burnley against Manchester City, Arsenal against Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth against West Ham, and Manchester United against Wolves. And Talksport breakfast from Monday at 6 a.m. will start the build-up to the Premier League opening weekend. Header back infield by McAteer for Leicester. Manages to collect his own infield header and brought that out of the sky beautifully. Elegant bit of control from McAteer to glide away from De Silva. And now Doyle, left of centre for Leicester, up towards Dewsbury Hall, breaks into the penalty area, ball across the face of goal, but behind the 2 Leicester City players. One of them was Jamie Vardy. Leicester still have it with Ricardo. Back to Winks, middle of the Coventry half. Coventry have virtually everybody back behind the ball. So can Leicester pass and probe? They'll have worked on that, of course, throughout the summer under Enzo Maresca, who strayed way outside his technical area to offer some instructions. Learned his trade under Pep Guardiola, of course, and as an assistant, and also worked at West Ham for a spell under Manuel Pellegrini. Lovely weight on that pass from Dewsbury Hall towards Mavididi, but the goalkeeper comes out to collect just inside his box.
They're close, aren't they, Leicester? A couple of times the play's been really neat and tidy in midfield. Winks and Ndidi, Dewsbury Hall, the combination's really slick. but then it's just that final little pass. They've been very, very close to getting in behind Coventry. Just either the pass has been too firm or it's not been accurate enough. They're getting close. I've really liked what I've seen so far from Leicester, though.
Midway through the first half, Leicester City 0, Coventry City 0. The first league meeting between these two since 2011-2012, and Leicester do have a great record against Coventry in relatively recent years. And Didi breaking forward, right hand edge of the box, early floated ball in, much too much on that for Jamie Vardy, and it's the easiest of takes for Ben Wilson, who kept 20 clean sheets in the regular league season last year for Coventry, and 2 more in the playoff semi-finals. He even managed to score a goal towards the end of last season as well.
I mean, this is very typical, though, still of Coventry from last season. Is you think you're on top, but actually goalkeeper's not really had to do anything yet.
And it's not just the goalkeeper, as you say, Dean, in terms of the reason why Coventry was so good defensively last season. It's the whole setup.
Yeah, McFadzean, 36 years old, when he didn't play just for a few games last season, they were a different side. He's so important to that back three and that organisation.
Almost a late bloomer, Carl McFadzean, and the likes of Ben Sheaf and Gustavo Hamer as well. Floated forward high up the middle for Leicester towards Ndidi. Right hand edge of the box, he's blocked off by Latabodiere. The angle was against Ndidi on that occasion. Coventry smuggle it away. Sheaf will try and bring the ball under control. It's come back to Dewsbury Hall to smack one goalwards. Blocked by a stretching Hamer. He's hurt himself there. Coventry on the break. De Silva trying to charge towards the halfway line. He's half gone to ground. The referee's played a good advantage. Hamer's now back on his feet, but Coventry have lost the ball, and Leicester are on the attack. End to end, goalless it remains. Doyle's ball infield to Dewsbury Hall, who's seeing plenty of possession and looking very dangerous. Corner of the box, wide to Doyle to drive it across the face of goal, headed away by Thomas this time. Coventry remain resolute. Leicester looking for a route to goal.
Yeah, they're just going to have to stand strong at the moment, because Leicester are fully on top now in terms of their quality. Again, Dewsbury Hall, who's been outstanding already in this game, thought he'd got a shot away. Gustavo Hamer did brilliantly, by the way, to get across and block. Took a real blow straight into the ribs with the ball. Still not quite recovered.
Good noise at the King Power, good atmosphere. And of course, positivity was so lacking at Leicester City last season in that desperately disappointing Premier League campaign that ended with them picking up just 34 points, the departure of Brendan Rodgers in April, and then 8 games under Dean Smith, but 2 wins in that time just wasn't enough. Relegated on the final day. Quite the contrast for Coventry, of course. A wonderful championship season, and so nearly the perfect ending. Coventry, though, remain outside the top flight, which is where they have been since 2001. Here's Palmer in the centre circle, collects a lovely ball in field and looks towards Matty Godden through the middle. Godden touches it on to Sims. Sims inside the penalty area, tackled at the last by Ricardo. Lovely flowing football from Coventry City, very quick to move the ball through the centre of the field. Ricardo got back to whip it off the toes of Sims before he could shoot.
Sharp as you like from Godden. Brilliant feet at the edge of the box, just a little nutmeg and then a lovely little pass into Sims. It's a shame Sims wasn't quite as sharp as Godden. Just poor touch, let him down. You can't when you've got those little moments, and again he gives it away.
Casey Palmer 25 yards out, it'll sit up nicely to shoot, and it's just over the top, clipped the roof of the net. Goalkeeper might have had it covered. 0-0 it remains, but both sides looking genuinely threatening going forward.
Yeah, again, good play this time. Casey Palmer in towards Sims. It was a poor pass, but rebounds to Casey Palmer, opens his body up as if he wants to curl it into one of the corners, straight over the top, straight over the middle of the crossbar as well from Casey Palmer. Actually, the pass to Godden would have been better, which is why Godden has given him an absolute mouthful.
Casey Palmer, who missed a big chunk towards the end of last season due to injury up until the playoff final, ironically. Matty Godden, who has had injury problems of his own, but still managed 8 league goals last year. Well, it's been a fascinating first 26 and a half minutes on Talksport. Leeds against Cardiff to come from 2:30. The first half here on Talksport, the whole game on Talksport 2. At 4 here on Talksport, the Community Shield between Manchester City and Arsenal. And at 5 o'clock on Talksport 2 in the Championship, Sunderland against Ipswich Town, back in the Championship, Ipswich. Here is Ricardo for Leicester, spinning and turning, right of centre, 30 yards from goal. That's a poor ball forward. Easy pass it was towards Ndidi, who was running up the right-hand edge of the penalty area, but way too much weight on that from Ricardo, and a goal kick to Coventry away to our left.
Enzo Maresca there. He must be frustrated because they played well, Leicester. It's just been those type of moments where the pass or the cross has been overhit or underhit or whatever it is, and he just turned around. He looked like a child that hadn't got his way when he turned to his coaching staff. His face just said everything about how he feels at the moment.
He's brought in Willy Caballero as his assistant manager, has Enzo Maresca. He does have experience in a senior managerial role as a number one, but it didn't last very long for him at Parma. This his first chance as a number one in England. Here is Doyle, white boots on, tall left back, left-sided centre half, depending on whether Leicester City have or don't have possession. Back it goes to the centre circle and Vestergaard, and there's a lot of strength in depth for Leicester if they can keep as many of the players that are still at the club as possible. There are question marks over the futures of one or two, particularly those on the bench today. Ricardo dead centre, midway to the Coventry half, onto Dewsbury Hall, edge of the box. He fires in a shot, but it's driven high over the bar and lands in the middle of the stand. And actually, did that take a deflection on its way through? It did. It's a Leicester City corner, their third of the game.
Yeah, they still haven't picked him up, have they, Coventry? He's still, I think, just pulling away from the Coventry midfield into a great position, Dewsbury Hall. He'll expect a little bit better from himself, though, still.
Stefi Mabudidi will take the corner for Leicester, the number 10. Two arms up into the air from the near side. Right-footed in-swinger, deep to the far post. Goalkeeper hesitated, but then made the save. Instinctive stop from Wilson to deny Doyle. A downward header from a very tight angle. He just threw his hands up to the Coventry goalkeeper. Another Leicester corner from the far side this time.
Yeah, he knew he'd got it wrong, but he quickly rectified that by getting himself back towards that near post, making sure he wasn't beaten there, and just patted it away.
Dewsbury Hall in front of the Coventry fans now, left-footed, and again swinging into that 6-yard box, and Ndidi climbs and heads it over the top. So 0-0 here on Talksport, just under half an hour gone, and full-time and extra time. Nothing can separate Sweden against the United States in the round of 16 at the Women's World Cup, so that is going to penalties. We'll hear from Charlotte Richardson, our reporter, once that shootout is done. Earlier in the Women's World Cup round of 16, the Netherlands 2, South Africa 0, a final score. The Netherlands will face Spain in the quarter-finals, and England in the round of 16, the Lionesses against Nigeria tomorrow morning at 8:30 on Talksport 2. And again, that is a round of 16 tie. The Lionesses down under will have commentary in every one of their matches at the Women's World Cup. Here is Fass for Leicester, 10 yards shy of halfway. The game finally at walking pace, Dean Ashford.
Yeah, it is. We're just lacking chances, aren't we? That's the only thing.
Yeah.
It's been really excellent tempo to the game. Leicester have taken control. Coventry are looking to counter-attack, but we're just waiting for those big chances yet. They haven't been created.
You can see that the Leicester boss, the new Leicester boss, Enzo Maresca, has stamped his mark on the team over pre-season, as Palmer wins a free kick for Coventry on the halfway line. And a new style, particularly a new style implemented like this one, Dean. There will be bumps in the road, there will be mistakes, but we saw Burnley last season really storm the Championship with a really attractive attacking style of play, and Leicester hoping to do similarly.
I mean, look, it can be attractive, but there's got to be substance to it. There's got to be an end product to the great play and the nice, intricate, neat, tidy football that Leicester have played so far. If they get that, you know, they're going to be a hell of a side. So this season, if they remain with the players that they've still got at the club, or most of them, it's just at the moment, as I said, with the manager's face, that he's just frustrated.
McAteer, right wing position, lines up across towards Vardy, headed away by Carl McFadzean, so dependable for Coventry at the heart of that back three. And now it's the very talented Hamer infield to Sheaf, who, again, I mentioned earlier, is going to be one of Coventry's most important players again this season. They're at great ages as well, Hamer and Sheaf, 26 and 25 respectively. They're starting to get towards their peak, you would think. Header away by Fass and midway inside his own half. It's dropped neatly for Godden, who touches it on down the left wing, the far side towards the Silver. Sliding in his Fass. That gets a roar of approval from the Leicester City fans. It's full today, the King Power Stadium. Coventry playing from left to right in the first half. Towards the south stand, there are one or two murky grey clouds overhead now. Here is Thomas in the centre circle, the Coventry centre half, breaking up the middle, poking it on towards Sims with his back to goal, back to Thomas, nudges it on quickly to Godden, good football, right at edge of the penalty area, deflected cross, only half cleared, Thomas hammers it over the top. Centre half found himself forward, that was miles high and wide, under pressure, albeit.
Pretty much made it himself though, didn't he? Bobby Thomas, a lovely run from the right hand sided centre back, driving through midfield, good feet, looked into Sims, continued his run, played it into Godden, continued his run still, and then when it fell to him, oh dear, no composure. He absolutely tried to rip the leather, if that's what it still is, off the football.
You might call it, Dean, a centre-halves effort from that sort of range, maybe.
It was proper hit and hope, is what it was.
Here's Winks breaking through midfield for Leicester. There are gaps here for Leicester to look to exploit. A lot of space for Ndidi to spray it wide to the right-hand channel, and McAteer level with the edge of the 18-yard box, twisting and turning. Touch a little heavy. Godden came across, and the free kick given in the end. It was a foul by Sheaf on McAteer. Free kick to Leicester, dangerous position. 3 or 4 yards from the edge of the penalty area towards the right-hand corner.
I think he's really unlucky here, Ben Sheaf, because he reads exactly what McAteer's going to do, and he just steps across. He's too strong, and he blocks him off. But I thought he read it, so now in a great position for that wonder left foot of Dewsbury Hall.
He's already been a very keen influence on this game. Of course, looked at impressive Premier League player Dewsbury Hall, a regular last season in the top flight, has experience in the Championship a couple of years ago when he was on loan at Luton Town. Free kick about 3 yards from the edge of the box, well to the right of the edge of the D. Dewsbury Hall the only man standing over it. Plenty in the wall in sky blue for Coventry. Goalkeeper Wilson is on his toes. It's 0-0 in the 35th minute. Dewsbury Hall drives it into the wall. I think it might have hit Fass. I think it hit his own man. Dewsbury Hall trying to twist and turn down by the corner of the box. Coventry still with plenty behind the ball, still with some defending to do. Crossfield floated ball by Winks, headed back across goal by Doyle, and that takes one bounce. It's easy for Wilson, and the ironic cheers from the Coventry fans. That's a great clearance by Wilson. Upfield, it almost reached Harmer, but for the most tremendous interception from Harry Winks, who then is shoved in the back and wins a free kick. He just watched that onto his right foot, did Winks expertly. You wouldn't have been able to tell, looking at it, Dean Ashton, that it was an interception that he really needed to make. He made it look easy.
It was a good job as well, because he'd been caught out, actually. Hamer just sprinted in behind. Wilson, excellent half-volleyed goal kick out towards him. And in the end, actually, it was a magnificent touch, by the way, from Winks to just pluck it out of the sky over his shoulder. And it's a good job he did.
Lovely shuffling feet from Mavididi. Gets the olays from the Leicester fans on halfway. You can hear the roar of the Leicester supporters. They're really enjoying what they're seeing. Enzo Maresca did say before the game about the contrast between the coaching setups at the two clubs. Of course, Mark Robins has been at Coventry for some years now. He's the 5th longest serving manager in the top 4 divisions in England, is Robins. Maresca has only had a few weeks really to work with these Leicester players, but you can see that they've responded to his methods, Dean. And you look at a player like Dewsbury Hall, as we've mentioned on a couple of occasions already, he looks like he's really thriving in that midfield role.
Yeah, and I think I talked about the mentality before the game of the players that want to be here and are up for the challenge, and I think everyone in a Leicester shirt so far, you can say, has been that. You know, Fass has been nice and aggressive, which is when he's at his best. Vestergaard looked like he's just really happy to be back and playing, and then Dewsbury Hall has taken on that role, I think, as one of the main men.
Long ball up the middle from Vestergaard, but much too long for Ndidi to reach as he tried to break through the middle, and it takes a bounce and goes through to Coventry goalkeeper Wilson in the short sleeves. Now Hamer 10 yards from the halfway line, threads the ball forward, careless pass, intercepted by Vestergaard in front of Godden, and then a tackle from Eccles on Doyle, but Winks is there again to make the interception and win the ball back for Leicester City, and he's got the talent to start a counter-attack. That's a lovely ball inside left channel towards Mabedidi, but the flag is up almost in line with our commentary position, which is high at the back of the main stand to the left of the halfway line, and Mark Robbins knew that as well. It was right in front of him.
It was really, really good defensive line from Coventry there. Bobby Thomas just made sure that he stood up one step, so he was alongside McFadzean just to catch Mabedidi offside. But Jamie Vardy's been quiet. He's probably been the one that you'd expect at this level still, as he got more to offer. Still been quite quiet, actually. We've not seen those penetrating runs in behind that we're so used to seeing.
Just 3 league goals last season for Jamie Vardy, his lowest league tally in a season at Leicester City. That is understandable, really, given the form, of course, last year of the whole club and the lack of opportunities, relatively speaking, that he had, particularly to start matches. Here's Ndidi just shy of halfway. Heavy touch, dispossessed by a sliding De Silva. Now Sims is breaking forward at pace. Corner of the penalty area. Right-footed shot, blocked off by Ricardo. Had to really dig that out, did Sims. A slightly awkward-looking shot. It's come back to the Coventry number 9, though. Trying to nutmeg Ricardo down by the dead ball line, but Ricardo is having none of that. He shrugs aside Sims. Goal kick to Leicester. Away to the right-hand side with 38 minutes into the game. On the opening weekend of the EFL season, live on Talksport. Leicester 0, Coventry 0, and Dean Ashton is alongside.
That's really been their only play so far, Coventry, is that quick ball forwards, and that was the one thing with Gyökeres. He was so good at getting on the end of those balls that were threaded down the channel. He was so strong, so powerful. Sims yet to really show that sort of quality. Obviously, it's so early on in his Coventry career, and I think he'll learn more and more how this team and the manager wants him to play.
It's quite a feisty game this at times, not a dirty game, but certainly competitive between these two. And it is a Midlands derby, only 24 miles between the two cities. Here is Fass just shy of halfway line. You can hear the applause of the Leicester fans in the rows of seats in front of us, because some of the Leicester subs are warming up. Here is Ricardo moving into midfield again and drifting into the centre circle. Now Fass striding forward up the right hand channel. Casey McAteer with the white and green boots on, back to Ricardo, and now Vestergaard 6'6" on the halfway line. A square pass to Doyle, who's still a teenager, on loan from Manchester City. Now Mabedidi, the number 10, poking it forward towards Dewsbury Hall. Back it goes to Doyle. Coventry certainly won't panic. They look well organised as ever, and Leicester, as we've been saying in the game, haven't seriously tested the Coventry goalkeeper Ben Wilson at all.
I mean, the structure of the Coventry side, I talked about them being open early on. Well, that's stopped. That has stopped straight away. Mark Robbins, and I'm sure McFadzean has put a stop to that. They're nice and compact. That back 5 now out of possession, the 3 in front of them and the 2 forwards all in their own half, saying, come on, if you want to play that way, see if you can play through us.
Here is Winks, the number 8 for Leicester. Little centre circle, about 10 yards into the Coventry half. Wide left to Doyle. And as you say, Dean, Coventry just sitting off Leicester until they reach really the middle third of the Coventry half, and then Coventry start to press and the challenges start to come in. Forward by Vestergaard, down the middle once more, cleared away by Thomas for Coventry, and all the way through to the Leicester goalkeeper, Mads Hermansen.
What that has done is it has sapped the intensity of the game, hasn't it? The way Coventry are now just sat in, that intensity is gone. That kind of swinging back and forth that we had in the first 10 or 15 minutes, totally gone now with the way that Coventry is set up.
Good control by McAteer to collect possession in the right wing and then drift into a central spot. He's trying to maraud from right to left, but his run is being checked by Godden, and maybe a lack of supporting runs from his own teammates. Winks has got it just inside the Coventry half. Square ball to Ricardo, and Leicester trying to keep that one-touch play going and move the ball quickly. Dewsbury Hall nudges it wide left to Mabedidi, trying to nutmeg Eccles, but credit to Eccles, standing tall to win it back. That's a poor pass though, picked up on by Winks. Winks knew it was coming, but he runs into Thomas. And now Coventry have it back. It's very much a game largely being played in the middle third, this, but Palmer's broken over halfway, up to Sims with his back to goal. Sims's touch is a poor one. Fass will easily whip it off his toes. Now Leicester's chance come forward. Here comes Mavididi. 3 against 3 here for Leicester, including Fass who's forward. Mavididi goes on the outside, crosses in low, cleared away at the far post, high up into the air. Fass trying to nod it down. He's still up there, the Leicester centre-back, hammered up into that bright blue sky by Eccles. And Coventry get it away from danger, but just for the first time in the game, they looked a little ragged defensively. 0-0 with 3 minutes of the first half to go.
Yeah, again, really good wing play from Mavididi. Just faked as if he's going to cross it with his right foot and then drove down onto his left foot, cut it back. And Wout Fass was the player that was there, just not anticipating that McFadzean might have missed it, and the chance was then gone.
Penalty shootout ongoing in the round of 16 at the Women's World Cup. Sweden 4, the USA 4 is the latest score. They're into sudden death. Both teams have missed 2 penalties apiece. As soon as we get a full-time result, we'll bring it to you on Talksport. Remember, England against Nigeria, live on Talksport 2 tomorrow morning in the Women's World Cup. Winks for Leicester, edge of his own box, steers it wide to Doyle. Leicester determined to play out from the back. That of course invites Coventry pressure, but Leicester have done it effectively enough so far. Coventry have it on the halfway line, but Mavididi whips it away from a careless Sheaf. Mavididi driving forward, he's not McFadzean. It's a lovely driving run, but then the pass towards the right wasn't a good one in the end, intercepted by De Silva. Another insight though into what you can expect this season from the very dynamic Steffi Mavididi, who's joined this summer from Montpellier. Now Palmer for Coventry at the other end. He's 30 yards out, he's away from Rinks. He plays it to the right and Hamer inside the box, back to Casey Palmer! Deflected wide, Winks slid in. Goalkeeper was rooted to the spot, going the wrong way, and Coventry have a corner.
And that's where he's exposed, Harry Winks. He's just not physical enough. Casey Palmer just jinks past him, pushes him aside. He could have taken the shot himself. He ended up passing it out wide. He got it back. Decent looking effort and a vital deflection that almost went into his own goal from Harry Winks, who was then making that recovery.
Well, here comes the Coventry corner. Hamer, one arm up into the air. Leicester with everybody back. It's at the south end of the stadium. Driven in low by Hamer to the edge of the box. Missed by Godden. Sims with the shot at the far post. Then McFadzean's there too. That's blocked and turned up high into the sky by Doyle. It's another Coventry City corner. The roar of the Sky Blues fans at the opposite end of the stadium to where all the action's taking place. There were 2-3 snapshots in there. Leicester scrambled it away.
Yeah, nicely worked corner, wasn't it? Hamer nice and low. Someone stepped over it, and then it was just a poor effort. First of all, came off the heel, then Sims, he scuffed his. McFadzean did the same.
Well, what can Hamer do with Coventry's third corner? In front of the Leicester fans, he'll be right-footed in and swinging. Players have loaded the 6-yard box. It's a great delivery, headed back across goal. Nobody can get the vital touch. Cleared away only as far as Sheaf, who slices the shot from the edge of the box, and it's gathered by the goalkeeper. The penalty shootout is over in the Women's World Cup round of 16. Who's through to the quarter-finals, Charlotte Richardson?
Taken all the way to sudden death on penalties, and I've never seen anything like it. Sweden progress, a spot kick decided by VAR. The champions USA are out. Sweden win on sudden death penalties. Sweden 5, the USA 4.
Thanks, Charlotte. High drama at the Women's World Cup. Halfway through a minute of added time at the King Power Stadium. Leicester 0, Coventry 0. This one's on a knife edge. Dewsbury Hall trying to spin and turn. Both sides have had really good spells. It's been very even. Ellis Sims is tearing down the Coventry left, looking to drive in field away from Ndidi. Held up well by Sims, but the pass square towards De Silva, making the underlapping run, was intercepted by Ricardo, and Leicester City have it back. We've seen flashes of real quality from both teams, but nobody's really been able to carve out a really clear-cut chance yet. Ricardo though might do so. Great ball to the right. McAteer in the area. Good save by Wilson at the near post. A save you'd expect him to make. McAteer drove it hard towards goal. Wilson 2 hands behind it.
Oh, there's the chance. Biggest chance of the game. Great ball it was from Ricardo Pereira into the path of McAteer. Takes it out of his feet. Beautiful touch. He faces up Wilson and then strikes it straight towards his face, and he parries it away. Chance gone.
And that is half-time. Leicester 0, Coventry 0. and a really exciting first 45 minutes despite the lack of goals. As I say, we've seen flurries of excellent attacking play from both teams, two teams who look evenly matched and with real potential to be up there in the race for promotion come the end of the season. Leicester back in the Championship, of course, after 9 seasons in the top flight. Coventry, who missed out in the playoff final last year. There have been chances at both ends. McAteer, as you just heard, with the best of them for Leicester, but Wilson was right behind it. At the other end, Palmer has twice gone close for Coventry, and Hamer's corner very nearly looped in at the back post, but it stayed out, and goalless it is at half-time. Leicester 0, Coventry 0.
Thank you very much, Joe. I don't quite know how it is goalless, though, Dean Ashton, because it was end-to-end thrilling football.
At the start of the game, the first 20 minutes was just excellent, so exciting. That's when I thought there'd be a goal early on, and once that decision, I think, from Mark Robins to properly shut up shop and make sure that they were really tight, that changed the game then. Leicester then found it more difficult to probe. They were having to go out wide rather than through the middle, where Dewsbury Hall was getting some joy, and then they were having the odd counter-attack themselves, but it changed after about 20 minutes, and that's down to the Coventry manager.
Yeah, it felt like the Ricardo Pereira experiment going from right wing to midfield kind of didn't work. He didn't really know what passes to make, and then that kind of came to an end.
No, it works so much better in that instance than it just did then, when it happens in one go. So as they play it into midfield, he makes the move, he gets the ball, and then he moves it on. When he went in there and sat in there, it makes it too easy then for Coventry just to get numbers in and around the middle of the pitch and just deal with that. And they did that very, very well in the second part of that half. Coventry have got to give more. Ellis Sims, I don't want to be too harsh on him because he's still young and it's his first game. He's been really, really poor in his possession, in hold-up play, in the combinations. He keeps giving it away, and those opportunities then are gone. The ones that they get on the counter-attack, he's kind of giving them away.
Yeah. Right, so Leicester 0, Coventry 0 at the break here at King Power Stadium. In terms of the second half here, Dean Ashton, part of our commentary team, what are you looking to see from these two sides?
Well, I think Leicester, I've got to say, have been very, very good in that first half. I thought Winks was excellent. You can see his combination with Dewsbury Hall, Ndidi and Ricardo in that midfield. They're lacking a cutting edge at the moment. Vardy's been very, very quiet. They haven't got the right service to him. So do they stick with him? Do they make a change? Iheanacho is available, Daka as well. And as for Coventry, we need a little bit more from them. They've just been hoping with the counter-attack.
Yeah, the Leicester players are out first. Coventry not yet come. We've got time just about to head to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and get team news from Ian Abrahams, who's watching Spurs against Shakhtar Donetsk. Is Harry Kane starting, Ian?
He is. If reports are to be believed, this could be his last appearance when he starts and he captains the side. Vicario's in goal, Royal, Romero, Davis, Doggy across the back, Højbjerg, Saab, Maddison, Kulusevski, Son, and through the middle, Harry Kane. So if he is leaving this week for £100 million there or thereabouts, Spurs aren't worried about him getting injured this afternoon against Shakhtar Donetsk. He starts here as captain.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much, Ian Abrahams there at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We'll bring you updates throughout this match of that game. As I said, Leicester out pretty quickly for half-time. They're ready to get started for this second half. No sign of Coventry just yet. I think we've got about a minute or so to go until this second half kicks off. And in fact, there are some of the Coventry players making their way out here. And you want more from them, Dean Ashton. What more can they do?
Well, personally, I'd have Gustavo Hamer a little bit further forward as the 10, and you can always bring Jamie Allen into that midfield if you wanted to. And I just think in terms of their bravery, really, that's what it feels like. At the moment, they're content with sitting in their own half and looking to counter-attack. Can they be a bit braver? I think if they allow Harmer to get a bit further forward, he's the one that'll do that.
Yeah, those are the thoughts former Norwich and Crew striker Dean Ashton, who's alongside Joe Shennan for second half commentary of Leicester against Coventry.
Thank you, Faye. About to get underway for the second half. Leicester in their royal blue, playing from left to right towards the south end of the stadium. It's full today, the King Power. Just over 32,000 packed in, including 3,000 who've made the short trip along the M69 from Coventry City, and Coventry playing from right to left in the second half, all in sky blue. The two bosses, Mark Robins to the left of the halfway line as we look at it, Enzo Maresca to the right, and we are back off and underway. No changes at half-time for either side. Beneath cloudy skies here in Leicestershire. Long raking ball up the middle from the Leicester goalkeeper Mads Hermansson straight away. Ricardo, as they look to break that straight through the middle here. Coventry, it's Sims with a terrible shot. There was a long ball hoisted downfield and it caught out the Leicester back four. Sims racing through the middle but showed no composure whatsoever. He sliced it miles wide and that chance is gone.
Oh, that was diabolical from Sims. I mean, it's brilliant from Hamer. Spots the run of Sim, plays him in over the top, 1v1. The ball's bouncing, but he's ahead because he's got too much pace. Why doesn't he just control that on the floor, take it into his stride and finish coolly? Tries to hit something on the half volley and just completely spins it 15 yards away from goal, but here he goes again.
Down by the dead ball line, Sims crosses left-footed, sliding in is Ricardo to block it. Ricardo, Fass, Vestergaard and Doyle, the Leicester defenders, with Ricardo moving into midfield when they have possession. Dewsbury Hall, Winks and Ndidi in the middle. Mabudidi, McAteer and Vardy the front three. Coventry, Wilson the goalkeeper, Thomas, McFadzean and Latibaudiere, all three centre-halves forward for this Coventry corner. De Silva and Palmer the wing-backs. Sheaf, Eccles and Hamer in support of Godden and Sims up front. I mean, 0-0 it remains.
What a chance that was.
Oh, big chance.
What a chance. If you asked him to do that 100 times, he couldn't do it any worse.
Hamer's in swinging corner from the near side into the 6-yard box, hit it in! Coventry have the lead. Carl McFadzean, captain's goal, flicked header into the corner at the near post, and the Sky Blues have the breakthrough at the King Power Stadium. Leicester 0, Coventry 1.
Well, they had their issues last season, terrible issues with set plays, Leicester, and it's happened again. It's a brilliant delivery, though, from Gustavo Hamer. Really whipped that in, and it's clever from the veteran McFadzean. He just starts in and around the goalkeeper. He actually hides behind the goalkeeper. Then he just comes around the goalkeeper, gets himself in at the near post. The pace is on the ball. He flicks it past. Absolutely no chance for Hermansson because he's just too quick. It flashes past him at that near post.
And it's set-piece success for Coventry City. Thumping header from Carl McFadzean. And Coventry strike first in the Midlands derby, live on Talksport. And Leicester City back in the Championship after relegation and behind on the opening weekend. Our eagle-eyed producer at half-time spotted Robert Huth, a former Premier League winner, in the crowd. Premier League title winner at Leicester City. They could have used Robert Huth from that set piece. Leicester there. Set plays have been such a big problem for them in the last couple of years, as you say, Dean. But Gustavo Hamer's delivery was absolutely perfect, and we know how good Coventry are when they have a lead to defend.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's about the pace on the ball. It's about the delivery. I mean, McFadzean does the right thing. He jinks in front of the goalkeeper and he lets it just hit his head because the pace is on it and it flashes past the goalkeeper. But if you get the delivery right, I tell you what, it makes a difference. It makes it so much easier to score that goal.
Leicester haven't lost in the league to Coventry since 2008, but they are a goal down, and many Leicester fans missed that goal. Arrived late, and in a sense, of course, they'll be pleased that they missed it because it was an opposition goal. But the Coventry fans, loud and proud in the northeast corner of the stadium, lots of sky blue shirts on show, hands above their heads, and they lead beneath the cloudy skies here at the King Power. Leicester with work to do. Vestergaard could be in trouble. Plays it back to his goalkeeper Hermansson, all in lime green. A long clearance over the halfway line. McFadzean, elbows jutting out, tattoos down his arms, is there to head it clear. And he's got it back again, standing in the middle of the three centre-halves. McFadzean pings one crossfield to the right, brought down by Eccles. Eccles touches it onto Godden, and Coventry looking to hit top form. Godden's ball in from the right, blocked off by the first man, Vestergaard, and it'll stay in play. 10 yards from the corner flag. Godden nudges it infield towards the run of Eccles. Dewsbury Hall there to send it back to the goalkeeper. Hermansson's clearance high up to the midway point of his own half. Jamie Vardy's brought it down. Slide tackle on Vardy by Latibaudiere. Cleared forward though by Dewsbury Hall. That's a great ball. Casey McAteer trying to bring it down. First league start for Leicester City for him. He's held it up well midway inside the Coventry half, but the momentum has slightly gone out of the attack. Leicester in their royal blue coming forward. Mabudidi caught on the penalty area, lively in the first half, tackled by Sheaf. It's come back for Callum Doyle. on loan at Leicester, having been on loan at Coventry last season. Now he tangles with Sheaf, down by the dead ball line. The Coventry man gets the better of that exchange. Thomas sweeps it over the halfway line and away from danger. Coventry lead 1-0, and they're on the break through the middle. Palmer, though, can't set up Godden. Back to the goalkeeper from Vestergaard, and Leicester and Enzo Maresca, in his first game in charge, have a real challenge on their hands now, Dean Ashton.
Oh, they certainly have. The edge has come back in this game, hasn't it? With that goal, it had gone out of it with Coventry tightening things up. All of a sudden, Leicester going to have to come out, leave spaces for the counter-attack for Coventry.
Subs from both sides warming up. I'll give you the benches in a moment, but it's Leicester on the attack. Mabadidi, the number 10, square ball to Ricardo, dead centre, shoots low, blocked off by McFadzean, ricochets up into the air on the edge of the box. That's a high boot by Ndidi, foul on Eccles, and a free kick to Coventry, and Wilson, the goalkeeper, will take his time. The Leicester bench: Justin, Albrighton, Iheanacho, Suter, Chowdhury, Daka, Pratt, Castagna, and the goalkeeper Stolacic. Lots of options for Enzo Maresca. And for Coventry, the bench: Binks, Collins, the goalkeeper, Kelly, Sakamoto, Wright, Bidwell. Our break off now as Coventry come forward with Godden, and that's a tangle of legs with Vestergaard, and the foul from the Leicester City defender. Free kick to Coventry midway inside Leicester territory. A yellow card too for Yannick Vestergaard. The rest of the Coventry bench: Bidwell, Van Ewijk, Howley, and Justin Obikwu, who only signed a first professional contract in the summer. It's 7 minutes into the second half, live on Talksport, the Talksport network, your home of the EFL. Leicester 0, Coventry 1. We've got 4 exclusive commentaries next weekend when the Premier League returns. Coventry have the free kick. Hamer standing over it. Another good set piece. McFadzean's there again! And a glancing header that's going to drift well wide. And in fact, the offside flag was up anyway. But it's that Hamer-McFadzean combination that nearly proved fruitful once more for Coventry, who lead 1-0 at the King Power.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's him who's offside because he comes from a deeper position, and he's not actually. I think it's Sheaf who was just gone too early. And actually, McFadzean would have been onside himself. And he was completely free in the middle of the goal. He just missed it.
Former England striker Dean Ashton with us for commentary. We are sat high at the back of the main stand. A slight nudge to the left of the halfway line, right next to the director's box. Here comes Casey McAteer for Leicester. Checks his run infield. He had lots of space to dart into on the outside right channel, but elected to come infield, and that slowed the momentum of the attack, though Maresca, the new Leicester boss, applauds. He dispensed with the services of Dean Smith after his short spell towards the end of last season, Leicester, where they weren't able to survive in the Premier League. And Deeney trying to play it through the middle towards Vardy. Great interception on the stretch by McFadzean. They had quite a high defensive line there, Coventry, but it worked out for them. Hamer's touch is a heavy one there. Leicester win it back. Lip of the centre circle, Mabadidi onto Ndidi. Ndidi through the middle, blocked off by Hamer, really had nowhere to go. Winks is there though to sweep it wide to McAteer, corner of the penalty area, trying to get beyond the chasing defender Latabodiere. Back it goes to Winks, first time cross, slightly miscued, hit Ndidi, cleared by McFadzean initially, then Hamer with an intelligent ball to the feet of Godden. He pokes it on to Palmer, great pace and tempo to the game. Palmer over the halfway line, driving forward towards Fass, lodges it square, slightly behind Sims, controls, now into the box, shoots right-footed, and a plunging save to his left by Hermansen, and the Leicester goalkeeper holds on to the ball. Leicester 0, Coventry 1.
Again, it was Hamer who started that counter-attack. Brilliant piercing pass in towards Godden. Lovely half-turn into Casey, and they're away. When it went to Sims, better from him, more positive, onto that right foot, better strike, decent save from Hermansen.
This the first of a triple bill from the Championship, live on the Talksport network today. Leeds against Cardiff at 2:30. You can hear the whole game on Talksport 2. The first half will be here on Talksport. 5 o'clock on 2, Sunderland against Ipswich. And at 4, live commentary here on Talksport of the Community Shield. Manchester City against Arsenal, live from Wembley Stadium. As I say, 4 exclusive commentaries next week from the Premier League. Build-up starts Monday from 6 o'clock in the morning on Talksport Breakfast with Natalie Sawyer and Andy Townsend. Jim White, Alex Crook and Martin Keown from 10 till 1. Lots of great guests throughout pre-season on White and Jordan, including Gareth Southgate last week. You can hear his interview in full on the White and Jordan podcast. Here come Coventry with Sheaf. Left of centre, Middle of the Leicester half, very calmly back to Latibaudiere. Now Palmer with the pink boots on and the long hair, steered out wide by Thomas to the far side and Eccles. Coventry look composed, Eccles with the ball in, hacked away on the half volley, not entirely convincingly by Vestergaard. Leicester look a little nervous, they're a goal down. Eccles to the right hand side, opportunity for the cross into the box from Thomas, hangs it up high, headed away by Ricardo, edge of the 6-yard area, with Palmer coming in. Brave header away. Son is out at the King Power. Coventry still on the attack. Thomas darts back onto his left-hand side, edge of the penalty area, squeezes it through the gap to Hamer. Hamer with his back to goal. Eccles pulls it back. Godden's touch on the volley at the near post, gathered by the goalkeeper.
Every breath they take at the moment, Coventry is breathing in more and more confidence into this second half performance. Hamer getting out of that defensive position, linking up nicely. Lovely ball back for Godden. He did well with it actually, because it was around his waist. He got his foot up high, volleyed it in towards goal, but straight at Hermansen.
Harry Kane starting and captaining Tottenham today in pre-season. We'll have updates of their game against Shakhtar with Armani and Abrahams. Here come Leicester. Ricardo darting forward from the edge of the centre circle. Again, the pace is frantic and frenetic. There's no let-up in the intensity from both teams. Coventry, they look a very streetwise side, just as they did last season when they made the playoff final. That's a lovely ball over the top by Sims. Godden's got the pace to beat Doyle to the ball. Palmer's asking for it to be pulled back. Godden's crossed to the far post, headed behind by Fass. Coventry look the more likely to get the second goal. They lead 1-0 and they have a corner away to our left in front of the Coventry fans.
Yeah, just starting to stretch Leicester, aren't they? Coventry, better, clever runs from Godden and Sims, and Casey getting up there now. Really confident side now, Coventry. I just think with Leicester, obviously Ricardo Pereira drifting into midfield, it's actually helping Coventry rather than getting a 2v1 with Coventry's wing backs. They haven't done that at all, really, Leicester. It's all been congested in the middle of the pitch.
Hamer, same place from where he set up one goal already, and that in-swinging corner this time is too close to the goalkeeper, collected by Hermansen high above his head. He actually didn't have to really even move his feet there. The Dane, the former Brøndby goalkeeper, who has joined this summer, making his Leicester debut today. Dewsbury Hall, socks rolled halfway down his shins. Angle ball to the left and Mabadidi. Leicester with some promising attacking play at times in the first half, but lacking punch going through the middle, Dean.
But there's no room in the middle. That's why Jamie Vardy's been quiet. They've not been able to get through Coventry's congested middle of the pitch, which is why not now try and maybe get the 2v1s out wide against their wing-backs.
Fass, right-hand edge of the box for Leicester. Low ball towards Ndidi, steered away calmly by McFadzean. Couple of dribbles away from Fass, and now he finds Hamer just shy of halfway. Hamer with a poor decision, looking to float it square early for Palmer when there was a Leicester shirt in front of him. Ricardo was there to make the interception. Ricardo with the yellow boots on in the middle of midfield, had a lot of touches in that central spot. Ricardo, the Portuguese. Leicester may be thinking about substitutions. There's a couple of instructions going on in the dugout. A steep drop to the near side touchline below us. Can't quite see who it is who's getting the instructions.
I mean, I would probably take Vestergaard off because he's on a yellow card, bring Doyle into centre-back, put Castagna on and try and get down the sides, and even maybe Iheanacho on for one of the midfield players, maybe Ndidi, and just try to maybe get down the sides a bit more and just open the pitch up a little bit more, because Coventry are happy with it going through the middle.
It's Albrighton who's getting some instructions. A long-serving Leicester City man who's been at the club since 2014. Here is Vestergaard on halfway, up towards Ndidi. Ndidi wanted 2-3 touches, quickly under pressure from Jada Silva, who's just the sort of player that you feel will slot in comfortably to this Coventry side. Here is Doyle in the centre circle. Coventry with everybody back. Ricardo looking to dart through the middle. He's away from Hamer. Ricardo on the burst, blocked off by McFadzean, who goes to ground. That's a free kick to Coventry City. 1-0 up. Dennis Pratt getting stripped and ready to go for Leicester. The Belgian ready to come on with just under an hour played. Indeed, he is about to come on. Last instructions from Enzo Maresca, the Leicester manager.
Well, it certainly wouldn't have been my first choice of substitutions, but we'll see who he comes on for, where he slots into.
Dennis Pratt, who Made 22 appearances in the Premier League last season. The previous year he was on loan away from the club. Dewsbury Hall trying to maraud towards the corner of the 18-yard box. Sheaf has come across. There's a coming together between the two, and the referee Darren Bond says it was enough in the challenge from Sheaf that Leicester should have a free kick about 7 yards from the corner of the penalty area.
Again, it's
a bit harsh.
No, I think it was good use of his body there, Dewsbury Hall. He just stepped across at the right time, hands in the back. As soon as you put your hands on the back of a player, the referee can see that. You're going to give a free kick away.
Former striker Dean Ashton is here. Played for England, West Ham United, Norwich City, EFL expert as well. Dewsbury Hall standing over this free kick, the only man over it for Leicester. Angle not right for a shot. This is surely going to be a ball into the penalty area. Leicester playing from left to right. Pratt standing, hands on hips, ready to come on. First the free kick, lofted in by Dewsbury Hall. Vestergaard, far post, hits the side netting on the stretch with his right boot. Some in the crowd thought it was in. The ironic cheers from the Coventry fans will tell you it certainly wasn't.
Yeah, it was a great ball in from Dewsbury Hall, just stretching with every 6 foot 6 inch of him, trying to get it. He just couldn't quite wrap his foot around it and get that in towards the near post.
Not enough stretch even for Vestergaard, maybe. Believe it or not. So Pratt is on for Ndidi Dean, and I guess that's not a great surprise, that change. Sims has held the ball up well for Coventry though. Palmer's on the break through the middle. Vestergaard stops him, only temporarily. Here is Matty Godden. Good save by the goalkeeper. Spread himself with the feet of Godden on the angle. Stood up tall, cannoned off the chest of Hermansen. Coventry corner, 1-0 they lead.
Big save from Hermansen, that, because it was a great ball from Casey Palmer in the end. He thought the chance had gone. He was quick thinking though. Pass into Godden, opened the goal up, looked to try and play it just to the side of Hermansen, who spread himself, dare I say, Schmeichel-esque.
There's a connection between the two Danes. One, a Leicester City legend in Kasper Schmeichel, who I think everybody feels they missed last season, and now the new young goalkeeper. 23, good stop that. Hamer's corner from the near side, in swinging right-footed, punched away, one-handed by Hermansen, did well, forced back towards his own goal line. It's still on the edge of the penalty area. Come back to Hamer, left wing, twisting and turning away from Mabadidi. Back it goes now to De Silva. Leicester have plenty back behind the ball. Floated past by De Silva, the flag stays down. Palmer was onside, infield to Sheaf, and Sheaf has ballooned. Well, I'm not sure whether that was an attempt at a cross or a shot, but it's gone miles wide towards the corner flag.
Yeah, I think he's taken the slack off Sims there as the worst attempt on goal in the game, Sheaf, because that was
it
dreadful.
Took some doing.
Yes.
But I think we've seen, haven't we, in the second half, Dean Ashton so far, why Coventry was so good last season and why they may well be a really effective team this season too.
But also, he wouldn't have wanted to have watched that part of the second half, Mark Robbins. He'll want more from his side, so now they've got up the pitch a bit more, they're pressing a bit more.
Jamie Vardy's got new boots on. Leicester City starting a new attack with McAteer, edge of the penalty area, dribbles infield, left-footed curler, blocked by the defender. Thomas might have been going wide. Vardy chips in a high cross. Dewsbury Hall is there. Mabadidi trying to bring it down, dead ball line, flicks into delivery, still not fully away yet, headed clear by De Silva. Ricardo on the volley, blocked by De Silva from the edge of the penalty area. Leicester throw just inside the Coventry half. Leicester fans trying to find their collective voice, and Enzo Maresca, the new manager, a disciple of Pep Guardiola, on the edge of his technical area, trying to get the move going, but just as Leicester look to get back on the attack, poor touch by Ricardo. Coventry throw in their left wing back position.
I'm just so used to seeing it, Coventry, the amount of blocks that they put in, the bodies that they get in and around the ball in those defensive areas. That's why they are so good defensively, to protect their goalkeeper Wilson.
And they were really good away from home last year, Coventry, particularly towards the back end. Here is Sims darting through the middle after a long ball upfield by the goalkeeper. He's nudged it back towards his strike partner Godden, did Sims, but it was behind the run of Godden. And Sims making his Coventry debut today. It's understandable that they'll take time to gel. They do have Hadji Wright, the newly signed American, on the bench. Coventry yet to see them make a change. Mabadidi infield from the left wing position for Leicester. Back it goes to Winks, now on to Dennis Pratt, 30 yards or so from goal. Maybe thought about a shot, instead elects to play it wide to McAteer. McAteer's reverse ball is poor. and it's gone out for a goal kick to Coventry, and Leicester's threat going forward seems to be waning a bit.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a genuine test already for Leicester City, the new manager, the supporters, because it would be very easy already to be quite frustrated with a ball like that. You've got a young kid in McAteer who makes the wrong decision. You don't want to get on the back of the players too early on. Real test for everyone involved at Leicester at the moment in this game, because Coventry are they're a machine.
And that's a great ball by Hamer through the middle to Godden. He's brought it down beautifully. He's into the box, but that's a terrible finish from Godden. Skewed it well wide. No composure at all after a delightful pass that completely cut through the Leicester City defenders from Gustavo Hamer. Godden did a lot of the hard work, but the finish was sorely lacking.
Oh, the ball was just sumptuous, though, from Gustavo Hamer. Honestly, he barely even looked up, and then he just put this raking ball at about head height straight into the path of Godden, who was between the two centre-backs. And you're right, gone to slash at it with the left foot, bobbled it horribly wide, nowhere near the goal. Brilliant from Hamer, though.
And now Dewsbury Hall's on the attack down the middle at the other end. He can't poke it through to Jamie Vardy. Seen hardly anything of Vardy in the game so far. We're into the final quarter of the match. Coventry lead at Leicester via 0-0, live on Talksport. Leeds against Cardiff to come. The first half on Talksport, the whole of the game on 2. Here is Dennis Pratt. Dead ball line, low ball in! Vardy came in at the near post. There was a sight of goal for Jamie Vardy, but he was well marshalled by Bobby Thomas, who steered it behind for a Leicester corner.
He's made a career of this, Jamie Vardy, those darting runs to the near post. Really good play down that right-hand side for Leicester. Dennis Pratt whipping that in towards the near post, and it's brilliant from Wilson. Just sticks his foot out right at the last second to stop Jamie Vardy putting Leicester level.
End away to our right, packed with Leicester fans. Whipped in by Dewsbury Hall, the corner to the near post, and it's headed away by Godden. Drops down in the middle of the Coventry half, and Hamer's got the better of Winks. Winks not physical enough there on the ball. Hamer's spread the play onto the halfway line, and Eccles driving forward up the middle. Was he tripped by Doyle? Yes, he was. And the referee maybe could have waited another second to play the advantage, but I understand why Darren Bond did give the free kick. A yellow card out of the pocket of the referee for Doyle, and a free kick to Coventry dead centre.
Well, then it ends up being a good decision then from Doyle, doesn't it? Because the referee didn't just allow that to continue for a couple more seconds where Ellis Sims might have been in. They pull it back, and actually it's a good decision from Doyle.
Well, we have a triple change coming up for Coventry, including Milan van Ewijk, who has arrived at the club from the Netherlands in the summer, and Hadji Wright, a new signing as well. Liam Kelly, the club captain, is going to come on. Hamer strikes this free kick from about 45 yards, and he's blazed it 10-15 feet over the top. Now, is that a contender?
Yes,
Dean?
it's a
the worst effort of the day.
A who's who.
Well, Coventry, look, in all seriousness, should have scored more.
Yeah, they should. Yeah,
they might live to regret that. Only a goal down. That free kick was certainly not in shooting range.
No, it was a good clearance.
Over ambitious, to say the least. Just over 20 minutes to go. Leicester have been much more flat in this second half, and they again haven't forced Wilson. That effort from Casey McAteer right at the end of the first half aside, he's not had much to do.
But then this is down to the players, and it's down to the management. You know, Mark Robbins has got it spot on. He figured it out in the first half. He's been more expansive in the second. They've got the lead. They look the better side. They look really dangerous on the break. So it's now down to Enzo Maresca to counteract that with his decisions and his substitutions.
It's been a busy day in the football world. Sweden, a dramatic win in the Women's World Cup on penalties against the United States to reach the quarter-finals. Here comes McAteer for Leicester. Right wing position, space to drive into. Low ball across the face of goal, cut out brilliantly by Carl McFadze. Early contender for man of the match, the goal scorer for Coventry. Coventry have it with Palmer, left wing. Poor ball forward. Not a great run though by Sims. It was easy to mark him there. Fast got in front, and here come Leicester on the break. Pratt, heavy touch on the halfway line, dispossessed by Sheep. Palmer up the middle straight away to Godden. Godden's held it up with his back to goal, allowed to turn easily. Then a slight tackle from Ricardo comes in. Last touch off the shin of Godden, and it's flown behind for a goal kick to Leicester.
They should be further ahead with the chances and the openings that they've now created. Coventry should be 2-3. Leicester looks so open when they are counter-attacked against, and that is a worry.
Well, Josh Eccles is coming off, and here comes Milan van Ewijk, born in Amsterdam and now a Coventry City player. Liam Kelly's got the armband from Carl McFadzean. Bright sunshine now in the Midlands, and Kelly is going to replace Gustavo Hamer, and we are going to see a debut for Coventry 2 for Haji Wright, and it's Ellis Sims who's going to leave the field. I don't think too many of those changes are particularly surprising there, Dean.
No, Gustavo Hamer going off, he was a slight doubt, wasn't he, for the game leading up to the week, so he's been brilliant, to be honest. Him and McFadzean, definitely the two standout players.
So no great surprises to see those changes being made. And Leicester have the ball, a goal down with 19 minutes to go, and it's with the goalkeeper Hermansen. Maybe some activity on the Leicester City bench, but no sign of any imminent further changes for them just yet. Hermansen clears the ball long downfield for Leicester, up the middle, headed away by Latabaudiere in front of Jamie Vardy. You're with Talksport. We've got 4 exclusive commentaries from the Premier League next weekend. Here is Palmer for Coventry, break into a pocket of space, edge of the D, shoots right-footed, blocked by Winks, and the ball is going to spiral away in behind for a Coventry corner in front of those 3,000 travelling fans who've spent the entire game on their feet and singing.
They've got to grip, should I say, with Dewsbury Hall as well. He's been quiet in this second half. Coventry, I think Sheaf has just gone across and stood a little bit closer to Dewsbury Hall.
Loud noise from the Coventry fans, and contrast that with the quiet of the Leicester City supporters, who saw their side pick up just 5 home league wins in all of last season. And they are back in the Championship and a goal down to Coventry. Palmer's corner whipped in high, up go the heads, nodded away by Vestergaard for Leicester. It's come back out to Jay Da Silva, struck that from range. Kelly gets the ricochet, steers it wide to Palmer, and the flag is up, and that'll be a free kick to Leicester. We're going to bring on Kelechi Iheanacho very shortly.
Not bad, is it, to be able to bring on Iheanacho, top player. I just wonder whether it would be before Vardy or to go and help Jamie Vardy.
Well, I do wonder how long some of these Leicester players have got left at the club. Interesting, some of them, we understand it, on the bench. Iheanacho has had potential suitors this summer, but has remained at Leicester City for the opening weekend. Jamie Vardy's dropped deep into his own half to hold up possession, wide to Callum Doyle, and that's an overhit pass into the inside left channel. No way that Mabididi was going to be able to reach that, and it's through again to the Coventry goalkeeper Ben Wilson. We've got the Community Shield live on Talksport at 4 o'clock. Manchester City against Arsenal at 5 on Talksport 2. Sunderland, who impressed on their return to the Championship last season, up against Ipswich, Kieran McKenna's second tier new boys, who were outstanding in League One last year. That's at 5 o'clock on Talksport 2. We're around the grounds on Talksport in the first round of the Carabao Cup next Tuesday and Wednesday, and on Talksport 2 tomorrow morning, England against Nigeria in the round of 16, the Women's World Cup. All of the football and all of the time, and every game matters on the Talksport network. Leicester one-paced, slow on the ball. Vestergaard walking pace, square to Fass. Leicester look like they've run out of ideas a little bit in the second half, Dean.
I'm amazed they've not used the wide areas. You know, with Coventry's 2 wing-backs being isolated, why wouldn't you try and get the 2v1s against them? Ricardo continues in that midfield area rather than having the wide area. They haven't brought on a Castagna who could go and play left back, or Justin who could go and play left back instead of Doyle and get forwards. They've got to get back into this game.
Well, we did wonder what the change would be. Would Iheanacho come on to help Vardy, or would it be a straight swap? In the end, it's a straight swap. Vardy leaves the field, gives the captain's armband to Ricardo, and here comes Leicester City's player of last season, Kelechi Iheanacho. So no change in the shape, it would seem.
what we know is that Iheanacho, he can be super streaky in his goal scoring. When he gets going, he is a terrific finisher.
Here is Pratt on the halfway line for Leicester, steered forward by Fass into the feet of Iheanacho. A couple of early touches for him, but he's fouled McFadzean, who stuck to him like glue there. Carl McFadzean gets a high five from Jada Silva, and it's his close range header 2 minutes into the second half that continues to separate the two sides, with Coventry a goal up, and there are only 14 and a half minutes for Leicester to get an equaliser plus stoppage time. Here is McFadzean, midway inside his own half for Coventry. Forward to Hadji Wright, good turn from the American on his Coventry debut. Plays it wide to the far side of the field. Van Ewijk will steer in the low cross. Cleared away by Fass from midway inside his own penalty area. And now Mabadidi trying to spin and turn. He's got the pace to beat Thomas. Over the halfway line he goes, then checks the run. Does Steppy Mabadidi. Goes back on the outside away from Van Ewijk. New faces at both clubs. Here is Winks, middle of the Coventry half. Out wide to Dennis Pratt. Leicester building here. Great cross. Header in! Shrewsbury Hall! 1-1. 14 minutes to go. Pinpoint cross from the substitute Pratt. And there was Kiernan Shrewsbury Hall to nod it home. Leicester 1, Coventry 1. Game on.
And it was out wide that it came from. Mabadidi originally just turned and roasted Bobby Thomas down that left-hand side, jinked a couple of times, then he opened up, spread the play out to the other side to Pratt, and then I've got to say the quality of both the cross and the header are outstanding. Honestly, Pratt just whips it in towards that penalty spot, and Dewsbury Hall makes a late run inside Bobby Thomas, who doesn't spot him. He just nods it down, skips off the surface and into the back of the net. Just what Leicester needed.
1-1 on Derby Day, this Midlands derby, and it could go either way. Live on Talksport, the twists and turns in the Championship. We'll have more of these across the whole season. Mabadidi driving forward. Dewsbury Hall edge of the box. It's Comfrey and Acho. Tackle comes in from Kelly. Cleared away by De Silva up towards the halfway line. But maybe it's Coventry who are going to be on the ropes now. Leicester City have found some confidence again. Ricardo spins away from Palmer on the halfway line, and suddenly the King Power Stadium is roaring to the sound of Leicester noise. Pratt infield from the right. He's got McAteer in support on his outside. McAteer hugging the touchline. Infield to Ricardo. Dewsbury Hall might open up for him here. Onto his left foot. Edge of the box. Curls it over the top.
That's much better, isn't it, from Leicester? It's just amazing what a goal can do, doesn't it? Just releases the players again to have a bit more confidence. Mabadidi again with a good bit of play. And what you do is, against a back five and two wing backs, is when you get it out wide, you draw midfielders out wide to help the wing backs, and then when you switch it, there's the extra player.
We'll bring you team news from Ellen Road in just a moment. Leicester thought they were breaking forward there, but Palmer's got the ball in the centre circle for Coventry after a miscommunication between Winks and Pratt. Coventry trying to slow the game down. Van Ewijk dispossessed by Mabadidi, careless on the ball. Doyle will steer it back into the feet of Mabadidi. Over the halfway line he goes, urged forward by the Leicester fans. It's 1-1, 11 minutes to go. Great ball through the middle. Iheanacho, the flag stays down, and McFadzean just got in front of Iheanacho to send it back to goalkeeper Wilson, who sends the clearance skywards, high up into the air. It's largely Coventry on the back foot at the moment, but they are still a potential counter-attacking threat. Winks has fouled Wright, so let's go to team news from Ellen Road ahead of Leeds against Cardiff. The whole game will be live on Talksport 2, with the first half in full here on Talksport, and your match commentator with the details is Nigel Adler.
Yes, good afternoon, Joe. Only 3 of the Leeds team starting today played in their final Premier League match against Tottenham 10 weeks ago. There are debuts for Ethan Ampadu and Archie Gray, and Aaron Ramsey is back in the Cardiff City team as one of 5 newcomers for them. Kick-off here at Ellen Road at 2:30.
Thank you, Nigel. Here come Coventry, 1-1 the score at Leicester. Palmer trying to burst through the middle, he's blocked off by Ricardo, and Fass was able to clear. Leicester have a second win. Enzo Maresca watches on, edge of his technical area. Mark Robbins, the Coventry boss, about 10 yards to his left. Casey McAteer's gone down. No free kick given by the referee. 10 minutes left. Coventry now with Palmer, breaking forward 5 yards to the edge of the box. Inside left channel, poor pass, looking to thread it towards De Silva. Cleared away by Ricardo. It's come back to Liam Kelly. Now De Silva clips in a high cross to the far post. Van Ewijk is over it. In front of the Coventry fans, drills it back in from the right. I think it might have taken a deflection. Gathered easily by Hermansen. Well, this is the classic ebb and flow, the momentum swing that we just love in football, Dean Ashton.
I know, you just thought Coventry looked so comfortable. Leicester and the crowd were getting frustrated, and then that bit of quality that they've got in their side, Leicester, was produced. And again, game's changed. It's now Coventry who look like they've just lost a little bit of their edge.
Here's Fass with the curly hair and the red boots for Leicester. Steers it infield to Ricardo. Ricardo now to Winks. Winks on the halfway line. Clipped by Palmer. His heels. And he was sent sprawling there, Winks. Referee plays a good advantage. Nabadidi back to the halfway line, and Doyle, first time pass to Dewsbury Hall, who's played a leading role for Leicester City today, getting them the equaliser. 1-1 is the score. Pratt on the halfway line, back to Ricardo. Neat, quick football from Leicester. They have a free kick, and the question now for Leicester followers will be, can they go on to win the game? It's going to be difficult against a Coventry side that is so resolute. But Leicester suddenly picking passes that they were not for much of this second half, and Dewsbury Hall has won a free kick in a central position.
I know, where had that gone? That had stopped, that really quick one-touch play in that midfield area. It's back because suddenly the players have got the confidence back again.
Dewsbury Hall collects through to Iheanacho. Iheanacho spins and turns. McAteer, the angle tight, inside the penalty area. Pratt on the overlap, dinks in the cross. Header looping by Mavididi. Kept in play, was it? It's not in play on the far end. The assistant did raise the flag. It was a looping header by Mavididi that did indeed travel beyond the dead ball line, and a goal kick to Coventry, and their fans can breathe again.
That's a slight difference between Iheanacho and Vardy. Iheanacho has definitely got a little bit more back to goal, ball played into his feet.
8 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Leeds against Cardiff at 2:30. Manchester City against Arsenal in the Community Shield is live in full on Talksport. That's a 4 o'clock kickoff. And then at 5 in the Championship, Sunderland against Ipswich. Another fascinating encounter in the second tier. Ipswich back in the Championship. Here is Fass spinning away from right, just about 10 yards shy of the halfway line. Nerves of steel from Fass, and Iheanacho collects and lays it off to Dewsbury Hall through the middle. Fass might get to this. Out came the goalkeeper Wilson, who beat him to it.
Fancied that, didn't he, Fass? He thought, shall I? And then he went. Dewsbury Hall nearly with a great pass, cutting through Coventry's defence.
A rampaging centre half, but now Fass is out of position. Ricardo's trying to get back on the cover. Coventry on the attack on the far side there, right with Sheaf. Jinks away from Vestergaard, corner of the penalty area. Sheaf might have had a pass to play there, but he daddied on the ball for too long. Dewsbury Hall there to wriggle it back away from it. 7 minutes to go. Leicester 1, Coventry 1. Dewsbury Hall wide to Iheanacho, who's made a difference since coming on. Iheanacho, corner of the penalty area. Is he going to go back in field onto his left foot? He does. He's still going. It's Dewsbury Hall! Hits the side netting with a snapshot. Right-footed. Coventry had about 4 in sky blue around Iheanacho. One of them got a tackle in, and then Dewsbury Hall rattled the side netting.
Yeah, great break from Leicester. Dewsbury Hall getting himself wriggling away from in that midfield area, playing out to Iheanacho on the right-hand side. He's desperate to get onto his left foot. He does too much in the end, but it fortunately falls for Dewsbury Hall on his right, weaker side, and he just tries to guide it in towards the near post, through the bodies, and he's unlucky, just hitting the side netting.
We have missed this, Dean Ashton. The sweet sound of the EFL, live on Talksport, the noise of the crowd. And here, is Fass, nudging it over the halfway line, and McAteer's going to hair after it, but Latavodiere was always the favourite. And it's a nice clearance off his left boot by Wilson, high up into the air. Not necessarily a nervy end to the game from the Coventry players, who seem to be keeping their composure, but I think for the Coventry fans, it really does feel like Leicester have the momentum as both sides look for a win.
Yeah, it's still easy to forget. First game of the season. Yes, you've done pre-season, but not at this intensity. The players will be feeling it. Legs will be tight and tired.
Hadji Wright is on the burst through the middle. He's away from Vestergaard. Here he is, the debutant for Coventry, into the penalty area. Brilliant pace, hits the bar. Gordon to the rebound. Gordon steers it wide. Now I wonder whether Hermansen, the goalkeeper, got a fingertip to that shot from Wright to turn it onto the bar. I think he did. If he did, it was a Kasper Schmeichel-esque save from the Dane. Otherwise, Hadji Wright would have had a debut goal, and maybe Gordon should have scored from the rebound.
Well, I mean, the only thing Vestergaard smelt was the smoke coming off the back of Hadji Wright. He was sped away. Honestly, he was so quick. Doyle slid in right at the end. It was a brilliant strike from Hadji Wright with his left foot. Took a deflection off Doyle. A tiny hand off Hermansen. Outstanding save onto the crossbar. And then Godden couldn't put the rebound in.
What a save from the goalkeeper. And that means it stays 1-1. Coventry, are they going to rue missed chances throughout the match, you have to say? And Gordon surely should have done better with the rebound.
Also, Gordon could have just pulled that back for Van Erwijk, and he didn't. He didn't even spot him. If he'd just pulled it back, he'd have just literally tapped it into the empty net. Instead, he tried to cut it back into that far post and missed.
And now it's Leicester with Doyle. Crossfield left to right. The game has really picked up with 4 minutes to go. McAteer driving in field. He's reached the edge of the box. Urged to shoot. Lays it square. Dewsbury Hall spins, turns, left foot. Wide to Mabadidi. Corner of the penalty area. Ian Atchew in the middle. Here's Dewsbury Hall. Shoots! Into the top corner! Kieran Dewsbury Hall! 2 for him! 2 for Leicester! Joy for the Foxes on the opening weekend. And maybe, just maybe, Enzo Maresca is going to start the new era at Leicester City with a Derby Day victory. Dewsbury Hall pings into the top corner. Leicester 2, Coventry 1. They've turned it around late on.
There's a reason they were in the Premier League, and that's because they have some Premier League quality, and Dewsbury Hall is just that. This finish, that left foot, absolutely magnificent. It was sprayed across from Doyle to McAteer. He cut inside, found Dewsbury Hall, he put it out to Mabadidi, and then when it came back to him, nobody picked him up. He just takes a little touch onto his left foot, and he drills it right into the top corner. What a goal, what a player.
Dean, you've been waxing lyrical about him through the entire 87 minutes that we've had so far. He is going to be some player in the Championship this season. Kieran Dewsbury Hall, and he's just lifted the roof off the King Power. 2-1 to Leicester. They've come from behind to lead Coventry City. Milan van Ewijk has dribbled the ball out of play. I wonder about the 3 Coventry changes, Dean. What was it necessary to make 3 changes when they were a goal to the good, or can you see the thinking?
I can see the thinking, especially physically. These players aren't quite ready for the full 90 minutes. But what happens when you take your best player off the pitch in Gustavo Hamer, and Leicester have their best player still on the pitch? At this level, those players can and do make the difference.
A yellow card for Coventry's Ben Sheaf. Dewsbury Hall just limping forward here, but he has been the star of the show. Leicester 2, Coventry 1. 2 for Dewsbury Hall. Leicester have it. The free kick shy of the halfway line. Just seeing a replay on our monitor in the commentary position. A sweet strike, clean into the top corner from Dewsbury Hall for the goal that might be the winner.
Yeah, he liked that. You could tell by the celebration. That one where you waft the hand as if, that was special.
It's high on the Ashton axis, that goal. And Hermansen has been fouled by Casey Palmer. Goalkeeper cleared and Palmer's challenge was late. Hermansen not happy. Palmer might get a yellow card here.
Yeah.
Well, that save looks all the more crucial now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Only a minute or so before the second Leicester goal. Brilliant save from Hermansen. And also, because of the deflection, it's the reflexes then required from a goalkeeper to react and just change almost your body shape in such a quick movement.
Casey McAteer is clearly going to play a big part for Leicester City this season. The academy product, his first league start, gets a standing ovation, and there's a big cheer for Hamza Chowdhury back in the Leicester City setup for the first time in a long while. His first Leicester appearance since April 2022. He spent last year on loan with Watford. Leeds against Cardiff to come. First half on Talksport, the whole game on Talksport 2. That's a 2:30 kickoff. Leeds back in the Championship after relegation last year. How will they fare against a Cardiff City team with a new manager and plenty of new players? We're into stoppage time, and there'll be 9 added minutes. We're aware the groans from the Leicester fans, but we knew this would be the case in the season. Lots of added time for various stoppages and substitutions and goals, just like we saw at the World Cup, Dean.
It had 9 yesterday at Pride Park as well, and it just puts the crowd on edge.
Brings us more and more drama. And the drama, we've seen plenty of it already today. Leicester 2, Coventry 1. 40 seconds through the 9 added. Iheanacho's held the ball up on halfway, gets away from McFadzean, lays it back to Winks. Winks' touch is heavy. Kelly slides in on the intercept. Gordon, was he body checked by Winks? He was. Foul, free kick, Coventry, midway inside the Leicester half.
He wasn't, though. Winks and Gordon having a laugh because he knew that he just jumped out of the way, Winks. But Gordon, a little smile on his face just to say, well, you were in the way enough.
Yellow card for Winks. The yellow cards are starting to crank up, and we've seen this across the EFL so far, very early on in the season. Palmer's coming off for Coventry, and there's another debutant. It's that time of the season. The Japanese player Tatsuhiro Sakamoto, brought to Coventry over the summer, his first appearance in English football, and he's going to go straight across to take this free kick. Red boots on, he places the ball on the ground. It's dead centre, this, midway inside the Leicester half. Kelly's come across to join in. Coventry looking for a stoppage time equaliser. Floated in by Kelly. High towards Thomas, heads it back across goal. Leicester deal with it. Cleared away by Doyle through a crowd and hooked over his head away from danger. Further clear by Mabadidi. Mabadidi on the break. Mabadidi charging over the halfway line. Iheanacho to his right. Mabadidi speeding down the left wing. Held up by De Silva. And the referee's given a free kick to Leicester City, and Mabadidi is rapidly becoming a crowd favourite here.
I think they're going to like him, aren't they? I think he's going to excite the Leicester fans. He gets them off their seats. He's got that raw pace, but also he's got that close control, that dribbling ability.
Leicester throw over the edge of the 18-yard box, nudged forward by Harry Winks, with the throw having been hurled at him by Callum Doyle. Coventry City have won the ball back, and they've got it with Thomas, a summer signing, hammers it high up the middle, looking for Matty Gordon. The header clear by Wout Fass, then a poor header back towards his own goal by Winks. Hadji Wright looking to reach it for Coventry, but smuggled away by Yannick Vestergaard. Leicester 2, Coventry 1. 3 minutes of the 9 added have been played at the King Power Stadium, live on Talksport. Remember, this was a game where Coventry took the lead early in the second half, but 2 fine goals from Kieran Dewsbury Hall have pulled it back for Leicester, and Enzo Maresca looks like he's going to start his new era in charge with a win. Thomas just shy of halfway for Coventry City. Kelly steered it wide into the path of Van Ewijk, who looks to poke it down the right hand channel towards the run of the newly arrived Sakamoto. Steered into touch by Doyle. Coventry throw, and Coventry still have potentially plenty of time. 5.5 minutes to get themselves back level.
Yeah, just got to try and create that one chance, haven't they, Coventry? I'm sure Mark Robbins will be looking back at those openings, opportunities that they had, 3 or 4 of them on the counter-attack. They could have really gone 2-0 ahead and probably just taken the game away from Leicester, and they didn't take those chances. And then the quality of Dewsbury Hall has just shone right through.
Premier League quality, Premier League class, it feels like, almost in the division below.
Like I said before the game, he could easily be, the player of the season in the Championship, Dewsbury Hall. He's got so much quality.
5 added minutes to go. De Silva on the ball for Coventry. Feeds it to the feet of Latabaudiere on the halfway line. Squared out to Carl McFadzean. His opener seems a long time ago now. Can Coventry summon up the energy and the creativity to find an equaliser? Thomas looking to dart down the middle. Leicester with everybody back. He's found Hadji right there, Thomas, but the layoff didn't reach Sakamoto. Always a strange time of the season because you see new signings starting to settle in and try to gel. De Silva's ball to right, back to goal, spins it over the head of Vestergaard. Vestergaard heads it clear. Now it's with De Silva. De Silva surrounded by Leicester shirts, and Hamza Chowdhury smuggles it clear up towards the halfway line. Some good quick feet in the penalty area from 2 of the Coventry players, but they couldn't get the crucial shot away. 95 minutes into the match and 4 more added minutes still to go. Leicester 2, Coventry 1. It remains Van Ewijk out on the right hand side in front of the Coventry fans, trying to spin away from Winks. Dead ball line, low cross, and Vestergaard has sliced that behind for a corner. A very nervy clearance.
Yeah, needed a big shout there from Hermansen, who could have just gathered that. Instead, you put yourself under even more pressure. Set play, the dreaded set play for Leicester.
We know how good Coventry are at these. We've seen them scored already this afternoon. It's Sakamoto whipping it in left-footed. Great header away by Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. Leicester man who's scored 2 goals to turn this game around, but they've still got work to do to see out the win. Long by De Silva up the middle, headed away this time by Doyle, and a foul on Callum Doyle. Free kick goes the way of Leicester City. 1 or 2 in the crowd up on their feet to applaud. Leicester closing in on an opening day victory. 3 minutes of stoppage time still to go.
So much to take away from this game in terms of, from a Leicester point of view, that neat and tidy play that they've got. Then all of a sudden the lack of ideas, struggling to get through Coventry, and then the quality and the goals. And you can definitely see, though, Enzo Maresca, that style of his to play through Winks, clearly an important player to bring into the club.
And it will only evolve and get better potentially for Coventry City. Relatively speaking, not had a long time to work with these players, Enzo Maresca, but you can see a clear style emerging. Coventry, though, are not finished yet. It's a long ball by Yannick Vestergaard, the Leicester centre-half, up the middle. Iheanacho will chase as it rolls away towards the right. De Silva there to play it square and get it back from McFadzean for Coventry. Have it on the halfway line. Sakamoto, Cruyff turn away from Pratt. Now Kelly inside the centre circle, hassled and harried by Mabadidi, but Coventry have still got the ball. 2 minutes of stoppage time to go. They're 2-1 down. McFadzean, great ball on the diagonal to Van Ewijk. Van Ewijk trying to jut away from Doyle, who gets the better of him against his old club. Mabadidi blocked off by Thomas. Both sides giving the ball away with regularity very late on in the game. Van Ewijk as Coventry desperately seek an equaliser. Sheaf, edge of the box, forward to Godden, right-handed channel, plays it wide now to Sakamoto, edge of the penalty area here, tantalisingly close to goal. Sakamoto sliding in his Dewsbury Hall to whip it from under his feet. The danger's not gone yet. 90 seconds to go. Played square to Sheaf, edge of the box. Thomas might line up a shot, on to Sheaf again. Thomas trying to wiggle his way through, as are Coventry, but Leicester have got so many royal blue shirts behind the ball. One of them is Ricardo. Great composure by the corner flag, and he'll chip it clear to Iheanacho, who holds it up well midway inside his own half. Leicester keep their composure. There's just a minute to go, and they're on the break. Dewsbury Hall through the middle. Iheanacho will chase it. Out comes goalkeeper Wilson.
Probably didn't want that. Maresca probably wanted that in the corner.
Leicester so close to what would be a big opening day victory after the massive disappointment of relegation last year. But Coventry are still on the attack. Van Ewijk scoops in a cross, headed away by Dennis Pratt. 40 seconds of the 9 added minutes remain. Leicester fans ready to celebrate a Derby Day win. Coventry supporters watching on nervously. Coventry playing from right to left. Sheaf has steered it to the near side channel, and De Silva back in field to Sheaf, corner of the box. Might be space here for Kelly, pokes it through the middle. Driven upfield by Fass. High to the halfway line. Maybe Coventry are a spent force for today. They've got the ball with Thomas. There are just 10 seconds to go. Thomas long up the middle. Header away by Vestergaard this time. Winks will bring it down and keep it under control. He'll charge towards halfway. Plays it back, a poor ball. Straight to right edge of the penalty area. He's away from one, he's away from two. He can't get past Chowdhury though with an important challenge. Smuggled clear by Fast. This time Winks does hold on to the ball. Leicester 2, Coventry 1. Iheanacho over the halfway line. He's got two joining him in the attack. Iheanacho into the penalty area, plays it square. Great interception on the slide by Thomas. It might not make any difference to the final result. All eyes are on the referee. Leicester nearly had a third on the counter, but the game is nearly done anyway. They're on their feet at the King Power. All eyes on the touchline on Enzo Maresca. Referee says that we're not done just yet. We've had 99 minutes of football. Pratt will take the throw. Deep inside the Coventry half. Back it goes to Ricardo. The final whistle blows. And the Enzo Maresca era at Leicester City starts with a win. A Derby Day victory and a comeback one at that against Coventry City, who proved such a tough nut to crack in reaching the playoff final last season. But it's more disappointment to start the new campaign for the Sky Blues, and Leicester, who have high hopes of an instant Premier League return, are off to a winning start. What a thrilling Derby Day game it was. Coventry took the lead early in the first half. Carl McFadzean's glancing header from a corner, but then Kiernan Dewsbury Hall took control of the game. Expect him to be one of the outstanding players in the Championship this season. 13 minutes to go and he headed home the equaliser, and then after, the Leicester goalkeeper Mads Hermansen had made a brilliant stop to deny Hadji Wright a debut goal for Coventry. Dewsbury Hall picked out the top corner with 3 minutes to go to settle what has been an absolute thriller. Welcome back the EFL this weekend on the Talksport network. It has finished Leicester City 2, Coventry City 1.
Thank you very much, Joe Shannon. Joe will be getting all the post-match reaction from down in the tunnel, which you will hear across the Talksport network over the next couple of days, and in the new EFL show with Hugh Woozencroft as well. A few puffed out cheeks, I noticed, from some of the Leicester City fans, Dean Ashton, surrounding us at the moment, because at one point I really thought that they were going to start this opening day for them with defeat to Coventry City, who are maybe ruining a few missed chances.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they had their opportunities, and that's the start of the second half. They were excellent, came out, clearly had a word from their manager, Mark Robbins, and you thought they're well in control. The atmosphere had gone very frustrated from all the Leicester fans. The players were struggling a little bit, and then here comes Dewsbury Hall. Two fantastic bits of quality in terms of the finishing, and it changed the game completely, and that's what they'll need, Leicester. They'll need those quality players at times when things are tough to be able to produce those moments, and today Dewsbury Hall was able to do that.
Yeah, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall played for Luton Town on loan for a season, and he was phenomenal for us in the Championship, and we saw his quality in the Premier League, but this is the kind of stage that he really thrives on, and he's going to be really key for Leicester this season, you would think. But the moment of the match for me, we talked leading into the game about Mads Hermansen and his importance, and that fingertip save onto the post from Hadji Wright was the moment that the game spun.
It was an outstanding save, because with the power of the shot from Wright, the deflection off Doyle's foot, to then react and just get enough on it to parry it onto the roof, the crossbar and down, and not into the back of the net, and then you then go and get that goal at the other end. These moments are key, and Dewsbury Hall will get the headlines, and so he should, but there will be a mention, I'm sure, for Hermansen with that save that was made. That's the life of a goalkeeper, I guess, is that you do that and maybe don't get the plaudits that you deserve, but fantastic save, and I mean, it was a great game, got to be honest. I mean, look, they had 20 shots each, these two teams, and it was decided just by an outstanding strike.
It was wonderful to watch from a neutral's point of view, and as the chairman said in his programme notes, a new season presents new opportunities, and this certainly sets a platform for Leicester City to have an opportunity to bounce straight back into the Premier League. I have no doubt both these teams will be pushing for promotion come the end of the season. The raucous crowd optimistic about it, pushed their side over the line ultimately. A long way to go, but Leicester's campaign to get back to the Premier League at the first time of asking starts with victory over a Coventry side with their own eye on promotion. Next here on Talksport, we'll build up to our second commentary of the day. Over to you, Leeds United. Can they start their promotion push with a positive result against Cardiff?